Hey guys, what's up? Hey Linda, happy birthday. Nice. That's awesome. It's your birthday today. That's sweet. Hopefully you're still in the chat. Yeah, no. I got a call the other day on one of my videos, and it's just one of those comments that just enrages you, and you're just like, oh man, this is why I'm against immigration right now as a whole, especially considering, the comment and just the way that some of these people think about, Canadians in general, right? And it's just kind of like, it's a very entitled mindset. It's like Canada isn't for Canadians. It's a land of immigrants, and it's okay for us to come here and take it over because you guys are all lazy and alcoholics, pretty much. And it's like, fuck, and this is the mindset that is taught by leftists to a bunch of minorities and stuff. It's like, Canada isn't really theirs. It's a land, they stole it from the natives, and it's okay if you come and, repopulate it because they're not having enough kids and yada, yada, yada. But hey, Jonathan Lee, how's it going? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Let me see here. Where is this comment though? New immigrant to Canada here. But, this guy is called Li Jiazing. So I don't know, something Asian. And he's like, so first of all, his comment starts like, some Quebecois can't even speak English, so they should get out of Canada. Like, this is his question. And it's like, because the video that I was talking about was new immigrant to Canada complains about lack of jobs. And, I think you guys, if you watch that video, you remember that I was complaining about these people who came into Canada and they're like, oh, we don't have a job yet. It's been a couple years. And, my wife doesn't know how to speak English. And I think I was talking about Richmond and how this one Asian girl couldn't speak English. She's been here for 10 years. But so this guy, he's bringing up how some Quebecers still don't know how to speak English. And, and it's like, are you kidding me? It's like, Quebec was originally a French place, right? And it's like, when we do have two national languages. Now, I disagree with that. I think it's kind of stupid, but we do have two national languages, and French happens to be one. So it's like, that is why they can only speak French. And that's why they only need to speak French, because they are in Quebec, first of all, surrounded by only French speakers, and or a lot of the time, and they're able to do that. And also, the French, the people in Quebec, have been there for hundreds of years. They are a part of Canada. They are part of the creation of Canada. And other cultures, other Chinese people are not. They didn't come here and create the country the way it is. It wasn't them, so they have no right to be like, oh, let's start having Chinese as a new language that we all need to start speaking and all this other crap. So this is just like a dumb argument by an idiot who's like, oh, well, what about the Quebecers? Oh, they don't have to speak English, so they should get out of Canada. It's like, oh my, no, you fucking idiot. And then he quotes me, he's like, give jobs only to Canadians. And I didn't even say that. I never said give jobs only to Canadians. But he's like, meanwhile, some loser Canadian/American go to China and get paid a shit ton of money by teaching English. He's like, okay, so this is also stupid because, first of all, Canadians cannot buy property, or nobody can buy property in China. Nobody can go to Japan and stuff, which he brings up later, and buy property in Japan. And English, you need to learn English nowadays in order to, survive economically worldwide. And there are not a lot of English speakers in China. So, of course, they're going to have to import English speakers. So he's like, oh, well, you guys got English speakers that come here and work. It's like, what are you Chinese people are going to teach them English who don't even know fucking English? Like, English is a complicated fucking language. But so you do need native English speakers who grow up in that environment to understand, to teach it, because there's a lot of slang and all that shit, and different types of rules that other languages don't have. But not lazy. Hey, Jonathan. Hello to all you from Seoul, Korea. Hey, Jonathan from Seoul. You're a Korean spy. If you live in Canada, you should get out now. I'm on vacation. Haze Slavey. I make stupid comments sometimes. No, you don't make stupid comments. I don't get many stupid comments. I get the occasional ones, but this one, you know, it's not really stupid, I guess, per se, but it just shows the lack of some of these people that are coming into Canada have for Canadian citizens. And it's like most immigrants, a lot of immigrants don't feel that way. A lot of them do come in and they respect Canada. They respect the people of Canada, and they're like, I want to live by their culture, and I don't want to, like, you know, destroy it. I want to be Canadian. I want to celebrate Christmas and all that other stuff. But then some other people, they're like, you know, might is right, and we're going to come in and take over. And as long as we have the numbers, then who cares about you people? And, you know, Canada is a land of immigrants, and it's okay if you guys get replaced. But it's not okay if we get replaced, because people, they're fleeing their countries, or they're leaving their countries in order to come to Canada, which is created by Western people. And if you get rid of Western people because we're not repopulating our own numbers, and they're like touting immigration, how it's like, oh, this is such a great thing because we're not repopulating our numbers and we need it and all this stuff. And it's like, no. We don't need it. We need to fix our population problems as we speak, instead of just importing people. But they're like, oh, this is such a great thing, immigration. Like BC just had a 5 million people or something, huge population growth, and that was all due to immigration. And they're like, oh, this is great because of the aging population. And it's like, no, once we are all gone, we're not going to have a good society anymore. That's just the plain fucking fact of the matter. Right. And it's like, it's not going to be the same, you know, at the very least. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same standards, because Western people are what made Western society. It's not Asian people. If that were true, China would look a lot fucking different than it does right now. So the immigrants that are in Canada should want to get on our side, essentially, because if they want to keep the country the way it is, then they will want to keep a majority Western population within the country. But, you know, the guy like that's commenting right here, he just, you know, doesn't really give a shit. Oh, thank you very much, Rainy Steps, for the donation, man. I really appreciate it. Sweet. I'm going to have another coffee. I do love coffee. Okay, let's see here. But thank you again for the donation, man. You're awesome. How do you think the government should solve the population decline? Not being satanistic, just curious. Well, you know, the government will not solve the population problem. They want us to have a population decline. You know, this is the problem. Why do you think the government, you know, look at what they're pushing right now, CBC, have less kids to reduce carbon emissions. Right? Have less kids. And that's only being directed to us. Right? And what is like another thing that they're pushing, like veganism, you know, and that is making people like infertile. They're like, oh, if we're all vegans, then we're gonna do this and whatnot. But like, you know, that's being pushed primarily to white people, and that's making us all infertile, weak, and stupid. You know, like cholesterol, we need cholesterol for the brain. We need fat. Our brain is made entirely of cholesterol. Our cells need cholesterol, but we are all deficient in it now. We're eating soybeans that the government is subsidizing, and soybeans like lead to infertility. And especially the modified soy is even worse, because that's the stuff that vegans, you know, they're all trying to eat, like patties, like burger patties that are made all of soy and all that stuff. But that stuff will give you all these other types of cancers, will especially give women all of these problems with their uteruses and all this other shit. And it just destroys us and is directed primarily to Western fucking societies. And it's like, you know, veganism itself, I've been watching a lot of these other videos on it recently, and it's like kind of opened my eyes to it. It's like, you know, veganism itself is like, that is like the slave fucking food that they feed the slaves. And it's like, realistically, on the diet that we should be eating is something more, you know, meat-based diet. But as we see, you know, the only way to do that would be to reduce the population massively. You know, if like all the elites, all these people, they're eating meat, they're eating all this other shit, and like good food, and we're all like the slaves eating fucking bread and wheat and fucking you know, all this other shit that we can barely digest, eating all this fucking sugar that is ruining our fucking brains. And you know, it's like that's just slave food, but that's the only food that we can use to sustain massive populations. They're large, sickly populations, but that is how you get people to be docile and all this other shit. So it's like, you know, they want large enough populations, but they want certain populations reduced, other populations increased. But, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, the government is never going to solve that problem for us. We're going to have to solve it ourselves, and we're going to have to overcome the, you know, all the government stealing our money and giving it to other people, and making it harder for us to have children. We're going to have to overcome all of that shit over time. And it's like, you know, how do you do that? Well, one thing is you get rid of stuff like feminism, you know, which is destroying the family unit, which is, you know, constantly attacking men, trying to separate men and women from each other. You know, there's so many things that we could be doing to increase our birth rates. And once again, veganism, you know, that is destroying us, because it's also a very psychological thing where people, they start to get mad at humans for eating animals, and they're like, oh, fucking, we should all be eradicated because we're destroying the planet, and humans need to be wiped out because they're eating meat and they're hurting these poor animals. And they're like, you know, it's because we're all disconnected from nature, especially, you know, like people, like I grew up on the farm, I grew up in the country, I've seen animals get killed. I saw my dad, you know, he stabbed like a deer in the fucking neck with a fillet knife that we hit, and the deer's like, ah, and then, like, you know, they skinned it, we ate it later on. Like, I've seen some pretty like crazy shit, and it's like, you know, I love animals and all this shit, but like, we are so, all the city people, all the people that are have not grown up naturally anymore, they're like, oh, animals are dying, and so we got to stop the suffering of the animals, and we got to eat fucking slave food that's bad for us, that is just sugar, glucose that we can't digest. You know, like the vegan diet, we need B12 in our fucking diets, right? We need B12. Okay, kids that are deficient in it have, like, you know, mental problems. You're seeing all these cases with vegan kids coming up. They have rickets. They can't fucking walk. They have all these problems. And it's like, you know, they look like kids need milk. First of all, a mother's milk. What does that tell you? They're eating like animal byproducts, and that is all cholesterol. And we cut cholesterol out of our fucking diets, when the people who have lived the longest, who have recorded to live the longest, have high fucking cholesterol. And all the people with low cholesterol are linked to violence, they're linked to like infertility, linked to all this other shit that is not good, and death, premature death. The founder of veganism was died of a heart attack at 66 years old, right? So it's like, you know, they're promoting this diet to us that is killing us. And, you know, when in reality, we should be eating more fats, more meat and shit, and less sugars, less carbohydrates, which, you know, in the 50s was not the main source of our diet. It was meat and eggs and all the shit. But then over time, it switched to wheat. And like even Kellogg's, he promoted his cereal because he wanted people to stop masturbating. And the founder of veganism, like, which was a cultist, wanted to promote veganism. So then people, because they thought meat made people too lustful. So if we start being natural again, we start eating meat, you know, we can actually start having kids again, because you know, the sperm counts for white men specifically have been going down. And why do you think that is? Because of our diet we've been eating. You know, our diet leads to so many other things. You know, it's like the gut and the brain are connected. And if you poison your gut, your brain is going to be poisoned as well. You're not going to be able to think clearly. And this is exactly what they want from us. So it's like, you know, we got to stop listening to these people that are like, oh, have less kids, go on a vegan diet, do this, do that. That's all being directed towards us. It's like, no, eat meat, have a wife, stay with your fucking significant other. You know, respect the man and female dynamic. Be there for your kids. Don't dress them up as fucking trannies and dance them in front of gays so then they could throw money at them and shit, so then you could take that money later and support your own fucking life and shit, like what they're doing at Desmond kid. Like, you know, we're moving away from the natural world. And it's like, why do you think people are on video games, you know, simulating killing things? Because we're no longer killing our fucking food. We're no longer like that. Like, in order to understand humans, we can't think of how we've lived within the past 10,000 years. We have to think like humans have been the way we are for the past 2 million years. So how did we live in tribes of small tribes for the last 2 million years? We didn't have wheat. We didn't have tons of fruit to eat. We didn't have all of these things. We ate meat. We ate bone marrow. We ate brain. We ate, you know, everything of the animal. A lot of times we ate it raw. You know, we can eat raw meat as well. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of things that they're not teaching us. So look at the, like, you know, I don't want to get conspiratorial, but look at the Illuminati and stuff. Look at the you know, those pictures that came out where it shows celebrities licking blood off of like a prostitute laying in blood or something, right? You know, when you hear these Illuminati like drinking like kids' blood and all this stuff, because that like blood, you know, and meat is the highest food, right? And it's like, you know, these elitist type thing, they think like human blood, human, you know, you see them licking blood, you know, that like that Pizzagate shit, you know, like drinking blood of humans and shit like that, like, you know. But then they promote veganism for all the slaves. I'm not saying eat humans, but I'm saying, like, you know, flesh of animals. The liver is the most nutritious part of the animal, and you know, we're no longer eating these things in our diets anymore. People, you know, vegans, they'll promote these studies, and they'll show like this China study, which if you look into it, it's the people who do actually eat meat and dairy that do live the longest. But they say a meat eater is somebody eats 20 to 30% meat in their diet, but the 80 other percent is carbohydrates, sugars, you know, whatever, and maybe they're eating processed meat. And then they're comparing this with the vegan who's cut out a lot of processed meat, who doesn't smoke, doesn't all this stuff. So it's not at all a good comparison. You'd have to do like an actual carnivore type diet meat eater compared to that. And if you look at, you know, even Jordan Peterson's daughter, she went to that pure carnivore diet, and that cleared up all of her fucking illnesses, right? And it's like, you know, our humans, we're not meant to necessarily digest all these other foods. Like, we don't have most like a cow, you know, they eat grass and they need to ferment all of that food in their stomach in order to create fats, so then they can actually get fats out of that. But humans, we can't ferment things in our stomachs. We can only really digest certain foods, and a lot of plant foods we can't digest. And the only way that vegans can live is if they're fucking chemists and they eat like 30 fucking pills a day of B12, B this, vitamin A, vitamin C, all this other crap. Whereas, you know, meat has all of the necessary nutrients. But, you know, this is all part of globalist bullshit, right? You know, it's like eat eat sugar. You know, they've done lots of studies on rats where they've eaten sugar compared to cocaine, and the rats will pick sugar over time because all animals are ketose, in a ketosis state. They don't eat sugar. A lot of them don't eat sugar. They produce their own sugars naturally, and they don't supplement it because sugar is toxic to the fucking brain. And, you know, we see all of our kids are all on this, or all have all these health problems that don't exist in nature. And we're wondering, why are we all sick? Why are we all this? Why are we all this? Because we're eating all these things that we shouldn't even be eating in our diet. But that is the crux, right? I was thinking about this. And the thing is, if we stopped eating these poisonous foods, our population numbers will dwindle. But maybe that is what should happen, right? You know, we can't sustain these high population numbers anymore. We need to, you know, if that's the thing, it's a trade-off. Everything is a trade-off. So either we keep eating a lot of these foods, stay sick, and then we can keep our numbers, these population numbers, so huge. But that's not good. That's unnatural as well. We shouldn't have such a massive population, because as we see, it is putting strain on the planet, is putting strain. All of our soil is nutrient deficient nowadays. But here, let me see the super chats here. Okay, Rainy Steps, thank you again for the donation. A glass of milk, yes. Thanks, man. Yeah, a glass of milk. That's true. You know, we got to eat. Why is raw milk banned, right? Why can't we own chickens? And why can't we run our own shit? Hey, Gabriel Lopez, thank you for the donation. The global homo is onto ya. Watch out. Yeah, no, it's true. That's definitely true. Thank you again for the donation, Gabriel. I really appreciate that. But, you know, I've been watching a lot of this guy, he's from Latvia, his videos about veganism and stuff. And like, you know, he's a little bit out there. Some of the stuff I'm not too sure about, but I'll put a link in the description below, or maybe I'll find it right now and just put a link. But you guys check out, he's got some really interesting fucking opinions. His name, I can't really pronounce this, like Swerge something. But if you notice, there's been a large move away from veganism lately. A lot of people are leaving veganism. And, you know, like a lot of these people that are veganism promoting it, they're probably all liars. They're probably eating meat behind the scenes, taking some type of animal supplement, or they're taking all these other synthetic supplements to stay alive, essentially. And like I said, the founder of veganism died, or the founder of the American Vegan Society died of a heart attack at 66 years old. What does that tell you? And vegans are always like, oh, meat will give you a heart attack. We'll give you plaque in your arteries and you're going to die and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, as we see, vegans are weak. They're mentally fucked in the head. They think humans are just as important as animals, or I mean, animals are just as important as humans. Like you're fucked in the head if you think that. You're so fucked in the head. Like, okay, if all humans were wiped out, does anything matter? Right? Ask yourself that question. If there were no humans on Earth, does anything matter? No, I don't care about anything. If all humans were wiped out on a planet, I wouldn't care if that planet was in perfect fucking health, and there's bears and squirrels and dolphins running around, and it's just a mosaic, you know, happy life where that's not even like nature, because these vegans, they don't even understand nature. They're all just killing each other. You know, that is nature, is death. It's killing, it's murder. That's what it is. You need to kill to survive. You know, that's what it is. And this is why they're stupid leftists. They're like, let all these immigrants in. Open the doors, open them wide, because we're stupid and we don't understand that people are fucking tribalistic, and that, you know, they care more about their own than you care. If you care more about them than you care about your own, you're gonna get replaced. That's the fucking truth of the matter. So don't care more about other fucking people, just like these vegans care more about animals than they care about themselves or fucking that. And then those are the people I would never trust a vegan as a president, because they would fucking nuke ourselves. They would nuke us. And they'd be like, well, you gotta suffer for your evilness. Like, look at Vegan Gains. He like was gonna like show his grandfather dying from a heart attack and you see the anger on his face because he's like, well, you know, he deserves it because he died from eating animals, these innocent animals. And it's like, you know, these people are just disconnected from reality and the necessities of reality, right? You know, we have borders for a reason. We have these things for a reason. You know, resources are always going to be integral in society and are always going to be the main basis of everything. And, you know, resources come before morality. Health comes before morality a lot of the times, right? You know, people are like, oh, well, how could you eat these animals? Because you're this or you're this. Hey, man, if eating that is the healthiest diet and it's going to make me healthy and good and think clearly, then that is what the fuck I'm going to do. You know, I don't care. I'm not going to eat your slave diet of fucking wheat and bread and all this shit. You know, like that is not natural. When did a hunter-gatherer society for the past 2 million years come across a bushel of wheat and grind it up with a rock and then roll it up in some fucking paste and then burn in a fire with carcinogens and then eat it and it sticks to your insides? And it's like bread back in the day was really bad, especially on people, because it destroyed their teeth because they used rocks, especially the earliest breads, because all that little rock matter was in their fucking bread and they ate that shit, destroyed their fucking teeth. But you know, that the only reason we ate this stuff is out of necessity, because there isn't an abundance of meat, unfortunately. And sometimes you got to eat the fucking roots. Sometimes you got to eat the fucking bread, or, you know, we're too smart for our own good sometimes. And we've come up with all of these other ways to eat these foods that are not necessarily good for us, but they have helped us create civilizations at the same time. So it's like, you know, everything is a trade-off, right? It's like, you know, the Roman Empire was built off of wheat. You know, the only reason they were able to conquer so much is because they grew wheat and fed them, and, you know, they're not healthy, they're not good, they don't live as long as a human can live, they're not, you know, reaching their full potential, but it does help create large city states and large areas of control that elites can control large groups of people to get them to do this, get them to steal this, get them to build them a fucking monument for no fucking reason or whatever, or to them a large pyramid that you know, I don't know, or a monument to them. But, you know, even, and I was thinking, like, you know, even look at Christianity. What does Jesus give to people? The blood and the bread, which represents his flesh. You know, that is, you know, what they give to you in church. Well, the Catholic Church, anyways, when I went to church, you know, they give you the bread of Christ and they let you drink some wine, which represents his blood and his flesh. You know, these are the, you know, foods that we need. And that's why we're being pushed on veganism and stuff like that. You know, it's not healthy for us. It makes us, you know, weak, easily controlled, manipulated. And, you know, as you see, and sickly, and all those people are mentally ill. A lot of the vegans that do push that shit, and they're deluding themselves. Especially, you know, how could you think you're natural when you have to live off of vitamins and all of these other supplements and shit just to stay alive and whatnot? Like, it's insanity. But let me see here. Let's check out the chat. Might be as well be moon at the night. We are hunter-gatherers, right? You know, we are hunter-gatherers, and that's what we have forgotten. We got to remember, like, how, and this is how, you know, this is why a lot of other cultures are important too, right? You know, those little societies that are secluded and that are still living like our ancestors used to live are important to keep and to see and to learn from. We can learn stuff from these cultures because they lived the way that our ancestors lived. And, you know, obviously staying like that is going to stay at their state. But, like, you know, you see the health of some of these people in comparison to, you know, the sickliness of Western people nowadays with all their diseases and allergies and all this other shit. And it's like, you know, these tribes and stuff, they ate they fed their children like bone marrow and like meats and milk and all this other shit, like, you know, and that made them have like, you know, perfect teeth, good health, you know. This is why, you know, but we need to move more towards that diet, and we can't really listen to a lot of the experts per se, because, you know, look at the food pyramid and they're like, eat a ton of bread. And, you know, the more we learn about bread, the more we understand, okay, that's just carbs, that just turns into sugar in you, and it does nothing for you whatsoever, you know. But these are just supplementary foods that, you know, a lot of times we ate in famine times or whatever. It's like, yeah, because we don't have lots of meat around, we can't eat it. And, you know, like I was reading the book about, I don't know, some of the Herodotus and the Greeks and stuff. It's like, oh, whenever we want to make their soldiers strong, we feed them meat. You know, they even understood, you know, that's what makes the soldiers strong. But obviously we don't have an abundance of it. But, you know, I got way off track with the whole vegan thing, which I was talking about this guy's comment, this Asian guy who was, you know, talking about Canada. But I'll read more of the comment here. But he's like, you know, so earlier I was like, you know, some Quebecois can't even speak English, so they should get out off of Canada. You know, give jobs only to Canadians. Meanwhile, some loser Americans go to China and get paid to teach English. I think you get qualified by your skills, not by your race. It's not because you are Canadian or local, you are automatically qualified. It's the same thing everywhere else in the world, even China and Japan. There are lots of foreigners working in higher positions in Japan, China, Japan. By the way, when an immigrant gets a job in Canada, they pay tax just like everybody else to the welfare system for helping all y'all Canadian single moms and lazy alcoholics. And I'm like, and I answered, I was like, are Asian countries at risk of being replaced by foreigners? I'm like, come back and talk to me when you face extinction. You know, this is the one thing a lot of these fucking people don't fucking get. We're like, you're not suffering, or you're not going to have your populations replaced in China. You have no fear of that, none whatsoever. But we do. So, you know, I'm sorry if we have standards and we want you to learn English at the very fucking least, even though we are being replaced. You can't even do that. Can't even do that, and you're gonna get mad and bitch about me, about somebody whose ancestors literally created this country, saying, hey, maybe you should just learn our languages and do this, and kind of like not prioritize immigrants above Canadians, because that is what is happening in a lot of cases. With Trudeau and stuff, they are prioritizing immigrants above Canadians, okay? And immigrant women and all this shit. And then you got this Asian motherfucker who's like, oh, well, you know, English people go to China and get jobs there. It's like, we're not, there's no, what is the Chinese working industry being in fear of being taken over by immigrants? No, you need English fucking teachers to go there and teach you fucking idiots how to speak fucking English. So, you know, I'm not saying all Chinese people, but this motherfucker, right? And you know, and then he goes on, and I'm like, come back to me when you face extinction. Then he's like, Canada neither, it's built by immigrants, you know. So he's like, oh, it's the same liberal leftist bullshit line. Well, Canada was built by immigrants, so it's okay if I come here and take it over and take your country over, because Canada was built by immigrants. It's like, no, it wasn't. Okay. And the immigrants that came over, the settlers, okay, the people, they don't get that. It's like, this country didn't have a massive welfare state. It didn't have buildings, didn't have roads before we fucking came here. Okay. So, like, you know, it was built by immigrants. Yeah, by my fucking ancestors, you piece of fucking shit. And by a lot of other ancestors and shit. And it's like, I don't care if some immigrants come live here and stuff, but at least respect that bullshit. I'm not going to go to China and be like, hey, you all need to learn English And we freed you from World War II, and we saved you from the Japanese. So you need to do shit for us, and you need to make a home space for us. But, maybe we should have just let the fucking Japanese at you, because first of all, you guys were all communists at the fucking time anyways. So it's like, whatever, let the fascists kill the fucking communists. We should have fucking let that happen. Shouldn't even bomb Japan at this point with the way that China is fucking treating us on the world stage. It's like, it's like we should just fucking left that shit to them and stuff, because, like at this point, fuck China. Not all Chinese people. I met some cool Chinese people, but fuck China. Fuck them to hell. We don't need to work with them whatsoever. We can work with other people if we just deregulate our own fucking economy, get rid of these fucking unions, and open Canada up for business. Then we don't need China. We don't need them. And look they're already coming and playing ball with fucking Trump. They're opening up. They're now selling them a bunch of Trump is now selling China fucking rice. He's selling them rice. And Trudeau is just like, oh, sucking their dick, being like, oh, please listen to our gender policy. Please give us our people back. Please, it's like the only way they're going to listen to us is if we have America's backing. But what does Trudeau do? He alienates Trump every fucking chance he gets, because he wants to be seen as anti-Trump and this and that. And he's a liberal fucking globalist cuck who really wants to work with China desperately. But the things they're doing now is like kind of forcing him not to, which is good in a way, because, but he still wants to work with China. He still wants to be their fucking lapdog, their bitch. And then you got their people coming over, like acting like we're all lazy alcoholics and that they have to come here and take care of us, where immigration costs Canadians $30 billion every fucking year. $30 billion every fucking year. Okay. And people are like, oh, we're coming here and we're taking care of you. That is fucking bullshit. Okay. The majority of taxpayers are still white men in Canada. Okay. So, what? Fuck that bullshit. And, that just angers the fucking shit out of me, because it's like, a lot of people, especially in America too, like all these immigrants that come in, Asian immigrants, stuff, they're eligible to like these loans that regular citizens are not eligible for. And then they're like, oh, well, we come here and we work hard and we do all this stuff. It's like, no, you got these, interest-free fucking loans that the regular fucking black people in your communities don't even fucking get, because they're citizens. But then you're like, oh, we do this, we do that. We're so smart. Oh, we're and it's like, it really fucking just bothers me. It's like, just recently there was like this group that was mad at this white guy who criticized some Chinese food, because he's like some chef that, has studied with a bunch of Asian people, and they're like, oh, well, he's racist because he didn't like our food, and, this and that, we're oppressed. And it's like, what? Chinese people, it's, and pretty much every other immigrant voluntarily came to Canada. So I don't care how the fuck you feel about this and that and being oppressed. Go back to your own fucking country if you don't like it. I don't care. I don't care. Go back to your country. If you're like the gall that people have to come in Canada and be like, oh, you guys are racist and I can't find a job here, and the systemic oppression of Asians, and hey, Asians had nothing to do with shit in Canada. Oh, well, we built your fucking railroads. Anybody could have built those railroads. We didn't need Asian people to fucking do it. Okay, we got other people to build the railroads. It's like, well, we need the expertise, the little hands to make the railroads. So, they were integral to the creation of Canada. No, it wasn't. It was our systems that were integral to the creation of Canada. See, it's like people think, oh, Western countries, they have wealth because they stole it from other people, right? This is what they think. This is why people like this guy thinks that it's okay to come into Canada and exploit it and exploit their people and to, reduce the wages and all these things because, oh, you guys stole your wealth. But no, it's because the difference between a first world country and a third world country comes down to their institutions and corruption. Yes, our institutions in Canada are corrupt, but not nearly as fucking corrupt as these third world countries. That's why you can't build and develop anything in these places, because there's no trust within the community, because everybody's stealing from each other. Why can't they build businesses in ghettos and fucking stuff like this? Because as soon as they do, it gets broken into, they get stolen from. So they have to leave. They have to go to a white neighborhood. So then they can actually have a business to not be taking advantage of and shit. That is what fucking happens. I'm not saying only white places won't take advantage of you, but if we look standard of living and just culturally wise, it is Western countries where you have the most freedom, where you can actually set up businesses. Look at South Africa. Now they're stealing fucking land from white people. Do you think that that's a good place for business growth? Do you think that they're going to be rich from doing this, from stealing land from citizens that have been there for hundreds of years? No, they're not going. Sorry, my cat's there. But no, they're not going to get rich from that. They're not going to get, no business is going to want to go there. The only time you can have prosperity and wealth is when you have trust in a community where you don't need to worry about your business getting broken into, where you don't have to worry about the government just all of a sudden stealing your business and saying, oh, well, we're going to distribute it now to all these different fucking people. And when your government officials have, can get away with whatever they want, which still obviously happens in Western countries, Hillary Clinton, Justin Trudeau with his ethics violations, but our countries have been degrading. And this is why other countries are catching up, because they're parasitic on us with these global trade deals. We're declining because we're getting more and more corrupt, because we're becoming further and further left. Like that's all it is. We need to inoculate people against leftism. We get further and further and further left. And over time, we're going to be like these fucking countries. And this has to do with immigration. You look at voting patterns. If it was just white men voting tomorrow, you would have a free fucking society. You would have a libertarian society. That is just the truth of the matter. And, and then once you have women voting, then it becomes less likely, because, some of them will now vote for libertarian, but a lot of them vote left. And you have bring in a bunch of immigrants. Now they're all going to vote left. It's just a matter of time before we have a leftist fucking socialist state, and the people are not going to have this Western society that they want to live in, that has the security that allows them to build a business to achieve wealth. But they're not going to have that, because people are tribalistic by nature, and that's unfortunate. But they are. The people that are coming in are tribalistic. The people that are here are tribalistic. And unfortunately, white people are less tribalistic, and that is our downfall. Right? It's just like the vegans. We're just like the vegans. We care more about other people essentially than our own, and that is going to be our downfall. If you care more about the animal's life than your own, you're going to be a sickly vegan who's going to be weak and who's going to be easily manipulated, right? That is just what's going to happen. You got to care about your own people first, always. If you don't, you're stupid. You must care about your own people first. And I'm not saying only just white people. Canadians now are Canadians. So if you've been here for 20, 30 years, you're black, you're Canadian now. Like, I'm not going to advocate kicking people out, but we need to stop immigration. We need you, if you are a minority, you are whatever, to come and align with us to keep it a Western country. Because, if you don't, you're not going to have a stable future. And the world is going to have massive fucking amounts of death. Like that's what's gonna happen. White people are gone. What do you think is gonna happen in fucking South Africa? You know, like, you know, even the communist government there, like they kind of understand, like, oh, we don't want the white people to leave. We want to keep them here and force them to work and do this and that. But like, once they're gone, there's not producing food. People are going to have a massive shortage of food. And maybe that's just the natural state of things, because once again, all those people are surviving off of a fucking bread diet. So all these people are sick. All these people are sickly. We're sickly. This is the diet that they can feed the slave population on, but we can't survive. We don't have enough food for everybody. So it's like, things are going to hit the wall sooner or later. And, without Western people here providing a lot of wealth for other people to steal, things are not gonna go in a good direction. There's gonna be lots of pain and violence, because when things come down to it, when survival is at stake, morality is out the window. Morality is a luxury of wealth, of prosperity. That is when morality is something that is usable. But if you're starving and you need food and somebody else has food and you need to feed your kids, your morality is going to kill you. It's going to kill your child. It's going to put you in a bad state. And, at the end of the day, use matter more than other people. You do. Of course you do. If you don't think that way, you're going to die. Like that. That is just the plain fucking fact. So we got to remember these basic things, but we're so detached from reality. We're so detached from it. We don't eat. We don't see how our animals are killed, how, anything natural we're completely detached from. So we fall for this shit. We fall for this bullshit. Whereas people like in the country, as we see, are more conservative, less vegan, because they're not as indoctrinated into it as people that are in the cities, right? Because it's way more prevalent. And the only way to sustain cities is with that, fodder slave food that they feed us. That's the only way to sustain big cities. So, maybe the natural state of humanity is to have probably less children, or to have a smaller population living off of more of meat. Oh, thank you again, Rainy Steps, for the donation. I really appreciate that. I can't believe the change since the 1970s. Yeah, and that in Canada, we are facing the largest demographic replacement on the planet right now. So the changes going on in Canada are changing faster than anywhere else. And it's like, that's not okay. That's not okay at all. But I'll read a little bit more. And he's like, Canada neither is built by immigrants. He's like, it's built by immigrants, but he should have said built. And then I wrote to him, I'm like, you're a piece of shit. Fuck off. Because I'm just like, when liberals give me that answer, like, well, Canada is built by immigrants, so it's okay if you get replaced. It's like, you're a piece of shit. Fuck off. Like that. That's all I have to say. You're a piece of shit. He's like, exactly. You sound civilized. You got triggered like a leftist. So I'm guessing this guy is apparently on the right. Maybe he called me a leftist, or maybe he's just using that ironically. But it's like, gotta be careful who the fuck you ally with. And he's like, Xinjiang, go back to your, I'm like, go back to your civilized country then if you don't like the civilizations my ancestors created, And then he's like, why don't you go back to Europe where your ancestors' creations are being destroyed now? And I'm like, because my ancestors were some of the first Europeans in this region of Canada and literally built it up from nothing. Why don't you go back to China and live in some of their ghost cities? I'm like, because in China, they have all these ghost cities that are not being populated, that are falling down and all this shit. And it's like, you're leaving China, living in Canada, where you got all these cities that are just empty, that the Chinese government is building. Like, you go live there. Go live in China. Like, seriously, it's so great. It's your people. You guys are so smart. Then go there and live in your smart, fucking better society or some shit. But clearly it's not the case in China, because you have a fucking dictator type government, and the people of China, they're all like eating a lot of a lot of them are vegan, a lot of them are docile, and they're not going to fucking fight and you know, go and do any type of rebellion to their fucking government anyway. So it's like, you know what? I don't want a country like that. I don't want Canada to be filled with people that are docile and that just look down and follow the rules and shit. No, I don't want that. You know, so I'm sorry, but you know, that's just what the fuck I think. And you know, he goes on and he's like, first Europeans are from, he's like, AJ Lists, first Europeans are from Canada. I guess you really didn't finish high school, built from nothing. First Europeans are from Canada. See, this guy's a retard. He's calling me retard, but he's not even, you know, creating sentences properly. So, you know, if this guy's living in Canada, which probably is, he doesn't know how to speak fucking or write English, barely. And he's like, I guess you really didn't finish high school, built from nothing. Yes, Canada was built from nothing. There was nothing here. There was a bunch of teepees. There was a bunch of teepees here. That's it. That's it. There was teepees and some fucking little communities that were killing each other. That's it. Okay? There weren't highways. There weren't buildings. There were nothing. No, there was nothing. There was nothing here. Like asking, like, yeah, the natives didn't build anything. Like, what do you want me to tell you, man? Like, I'm not saying that they didn't build, like, yeah, they had some civilizations and it's bad. A lot of them died through disease. That's terrible, right? But they didn't still build anything. Like, that's what do you want? Like, Jesus Christ. Built from nothing, he's asking. The economy was started by doing trades with Aboriginals. Was doing trades with Aboriginals and was developed after construction of the railroad, which are built by Chinese workers, not to mention that they died a lot. Besides, Canada was a shithole just like other countries before 2 world wars. Ghost cities are better than legalized marijuana. What? Like, I'm just like, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. But it's like, ghost cities are better than legalized marijuana. Okay, that's a stupid point, and it's not better than legalized marijuana. Like, no, that's stupid. Ghost cities are terrible. You're just wasting your money building fucking cities that are useless, that are collapsing 3 years after you build them because they're built so cheaply. Like that is what's going on in China. China is not sustainable. It's going to collapse. It's a parasitic nation that only fucking could thrive because it is because it's a parasite on Western countries of the Western leaders that sold us out in these NAFTA trade deals that they signed years ago, or all these trade deals they signed with China, where we have no tariffs on their vehicles and they have tariffs on our vehicles. And we wonder why all of our industry is leaving and going to all these other places, especially when they're a non-market economy that fucking manipulates their currencies, that manipulates their industries. So then we think we're trading with a fair country, but we're not. And that's not free trade. We're not getting a good deal out of that. We're just losing our industry to a fucking paper tiger that is bound to collapse. That's not a smart thing to do. Not at all, to depend on other fucking nations like China that are run by dictators that are moving further and further back to their roots. It's just a matter of time before they steal all of the fucking wealth that you fucking put in that country. You know, it's like, fuck China. Fuck China. Trudeau is trying to sell that company that America is trying to extradite into America, the Huawei company. That company is going to set up Canada's 5G, right? That's why do you think Trudeau is sucking their dick so hard and is so tepid to come out and attack China, waited to attack China until America and Europe did it first? Why do you think that is? You know, like, He has talked about how he loves China for so many fucking years. He loves how they do things in China. You know, like look at, he's already acting like it. He wants Stats Canada to steal our fucking information. Just fucking take it without our, it's like, well, we don't need your permission. We're just gonna fucking take it. And that's how he thinks. Look at fucking Angela Merkel and stuff. Like, he is exactly like those leaders there. Like Angela Merkel just today or yesterday, she's like, European countries need to give up their sovereignty. like that's their plan. That is their plan. Thank God we have fucking Trump to at least push against that. Because if we had Hillary Clinton, and I know a lot of people are black-pilled on Trump, and I can understand that, but guys, if we had Hillary Clinton, think about what the fuck would be going on right now, like with the fucking Paris, with the global climate like compact, you know, within Syria right now. There would be, you know, what the fuck would be going on in Russia right now. Like it's insane. And thank God there is some fucking pushback. But, you know, Angela Merkel, we need to give up our sovereignty. Are you insane? Our sovereignty? How are people hearing this? And they're like, yeah, that's a good point. You know, nationalism is bad. Patriotism is good. But nationalism is Germany working together with other countries and not excluding them. What? This is Orwellian doublespeak that they're speaking to us, and we're buying it probably because we're eating like vegan food and all these carbs and all this other crap that's poisoning our brains as well, and listening to this bullshit, like going to these fucking you know, going to school, universities that are also poisoning our minds. Yeah, like that is what is happening right now, right? But let me check out the chat. If anybody has a question, just put my name, highlight my name, and then ask it there so that I don't miss it, because, you know, the chat goes by pretty quickly. I'm going to try to, you know, read a little bit here. Hey, Claude. Hey, Piano Lady. Hey, Reverend Jims. Hey, Lotus. Hey, Troll. Eric Butler. Stork Legs. Wayne, how's it going? It's only white European countries that have to diversify. Yeah, you know, that's the only countries that have to do that. Everywhere else, it's like, no, it's fine. You don't have to, you know, diversify. You can keep your culture, but Canada, no, you don't have a culture. We're a post-national country. We don't have a culture. You know how many times I've heard that from people like, oh, you guys don't even have a culture. So like, it's okay if we come in and take it over because you don't even have one. And I'm like, you know, it's just sickening, because it's like, you know, I would never go to another country and demand, oh, you need to do this and you need to do this and this and that. No, I respect their culture. I'm going to live by their customs. You know, you have all these Muslims coming into Canada now. They're like, don't wish Christians a happy Christmas because it's anti-Islam, this, and that. It's like, well, go back to your country then. If you can't fucking say Merry Christmas, go back to your fucking country. We don't want you here. Leave. That's what I have to say. But Slave McSlaverson, have you ever heard of Liberland? No, I have not heard of Liberland. What is your opinion on the Yellow Vest movement in Canada? You know, the Yellow Vest movement in Canada, I don't know. You know, I think that the Yellow Vest movement in France is initially kind of a left-wing populism that is kind of going on right now there. I think there's some talk about immigration, but, you know, it seems to be more kind of left-wing there, and a lot of them, you know, some of the other countries I think are more nationalistic, but some of them are more like being swayed by, you know, money and stuff. And once that fizzles out, I don't know how strong our movement will type be. Plus, it's just different in Canada, right? Things are just a little bit different. I don't know. And if we start protesting, we got to figure out what exactly we really want to protest. What is going to be the direct message? It should just be, you know, and we got to get it kind of straight, right? Like a lot of the media is obviously going to be trying to portray us as racist, and that's kind of okay, but you got to make sure there aren't a lot of idiots saying a lot of stupid things when they're being interviewed and whatnot. But it's going to have to be something. We got to protest immigration, right? And a lot of people are afraid about that, and they're talking about, let's just talk about carbon tax, or let's talk about all these other things, and there's some other issues and whatnot. But it's like, it's hard because it's like, we are not the same as what is going on in France. First of all, France is also a very small country, right? It's a lot easier for people to just geographically get to one place and protest, whereas Canada, we are very sparse apart, right? And, like in Manitoba here, I already have a conservative government. A lot of places have some conservative type governments, but it's like, what is the protest going to achieve? How are we going to protest? Because there's different ways to protest. We can either go and do what they kind of did in France, right? And go in business markets and kind of, stop trade that is going on in like all these different places. But that is also going to alienate some people, right? So it's a little bit different because, in France, they're all fucking socialist and shit. So they're all like, oh, okay, yeah, let's all get, cut taxes for here and take away money from the wealthy and have more days off of work or some shit. I don't know about the yellow vest thing in Canada. It's hard for me to, I'm always not sure about protests in general. It really depends on what the protest is about, what we're going to do, because like us doing what they did in France, like, throwing shit and being kind of violent, is that going to work the same in Canada as in France? I don't know, because like I said, the majority of people there were French. I mean, were socialistic type, and they all wanted kind of the same thing. So, and Macron has a 20% or 18% like ratio or whatever. So it's like, he kind of had to do it. But I just don't know really about our yellow vest protests. I'm kind of not sure about it. I think that there's nothing bad with protesting per se. It's good to bring awareness to things, and maybe we should go and bring awareness to things. But how much of it is preaching to the choir? How much of it is going to change minds? What really does work? Like, I think what really needs to be done is people need to be woken up, first of all, from just the media lying to us, and they first need to distrust the media, and they need to have their eyes opened to pretty much this anti-white narrative that is going on right now. And like this mass immigration narrative, people need to be woken up to that. And one thing that I have noticed that I think that does wake people up, that might wake people up, is, like that sign that like people did is like, it's okay to be white. You saw how people reacted to that thing where it's like, it's okay to be white. And you saw the visceral hatred, like just how people were reacting to that. Whereas, that kind of really exposes leftists to regular people. And you're like, oh, look at them, how they said this. Look at them, what they talked about here and there, and how they reacted to this, this like, basic thing that we said, or a sign that said it's okay to be white. Like how people like lost their mind, right? Like, it's not that hard to convince people, like, protesting, because the way the media in Canada works, how it's all on the leftist side. They just like, they'll be like, oh, look, these racist conservatives are just protesting immigration, and they're country bumpkins that are just dum-dums and whatnot, right? So it's like, I'm not really sure about it. Oh, thank you, Rainy Steps again. You have too many mosquitoes in Manitoba. Yes, I do. It's kind of a horrible thing here. We need to kill them off, but sometimes you have these environmentalists that are like, no, we don't want to use this spray because blah blah blah. It's like, no, just kill them, please kill them. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk off the cuff like you do, truly. Oh, thank you, Linda. I really appreciate that. I've heard a lot of people speak really well. You know, I think Styx Hexenhammer is really good. You know, or Stefan Molyneux. Yeah, I think he's really good speaking right off the cuff. But thank you very much, Linda. I really appreciate that. Thank you again, Rainy Steps, for the donation. AJ, what is your opinion on the big black dicks? Big black dicks. Well, no, I don't really have an opinion on it. You know, I'm that's cool. You know, if you got one, good for you. You know, that's all. Women like it. That's what I have to say. Is cool. Love of the bears. I'm a wolf. We run in the small packs. Make government hate it again. Everyone should watch the movie A Wrinkle in Time. An older German gent. No, took 5 years. Okay, Claude. Hey, Claude, how's it going? Is there a news media that can be trusted in Canada? Ugh. Oh, man, I'm so disappointed with the news media in Canada because, like, I read, like, the National Post, and it's fucking garbage. Like, a lot of the time, like, they're just such cuck-servatives at the National Post, and I'm just like, sometimes they have good things, but a lot of times I'm just like, oh, like there's this Christy Blatchford or whatever, and she's like, we need to bring in this Somali immigrant, and he needs to stay in Canada because we failed him, because how come he doesn't know how to speak barely any English? He's been here since this grade, and our school system failed him and all this crap. It's like, no, he shouldn't have been here from the start. His parents came here as refugees and had fucking a baby, and then they're like, oh, we need to stay here, blah, blah. And then now he's our problem. It's like, deport this fucking kid. He's a retard. That's why he can't learn anything. He's an idiot. So, you know, send him home, right? Send him the fuck home. We don't need people. But, you know, you got National Post already shilling for leftist fucking causes and stuff. And, you know, the rebel media, I like them, honestly. Like, they're not that bad. I know people are like, oh, they're Zionist shills, whatever. But, you know, and there's some things that obviously I disagree with them on, but you're still going to get news there that you're not going to hear from the mainstream media. They're still going to talk about some things, refugee-wise, etc. But that's why I like Twitter, because I like looking at all news all over the world, and I try to get news from all over the place, because, you know, it's you're never gonna really learn. It's hard to, you know, there's so much fucking information out there. You know, I see so many stories every day that I want to do a story on, and I see that's interesting, but it's like, you know, it's just, I get overwhelmed sometimes with just how much information is fucking out there and how many things I could talk about or whatnot. But there is not, you know, I don't trust any news source, any whatsoever, really. You know, I read everything. I read all the mainstream media sources. I read CBC. I read the leftist publications. I read Washington Post. I read the New York Times. I read CNN. I read Zero Hedge. I read some stuff from InfoWars. I read Rebel. I read all of it. I read the fucking, what's that one from Saudi Arabia or whatever, or that Al Jazeera. I read Al Jazeera. I read the fucking London Times. I read BBC. You know, I read everything, right? Because there is truth in a lot of stuff. There's truth in almost everything. And a lot of the media isn't directly lying. They're lying by omission. So, you know, that's the thing. You want to see also what the leftist media is thinking, what the right is talking about, you know, what the left is, you know, you got to weigh it all together. You know, you don't want to really trust any one news source, but you want to use all the news sources as well, but not really trust any of them, right? Because, yeah, you know, everybody's paid off. They all have their own agenda. You know, people on the rebel media are less willing to call out things that has to do with, you know, maybe Israel, or they're always like, yeah, we need to go after Iran, you know, Iran. And it's like, you know, Iran is the enemy of Israel. And it's like, that's why they're fucking going out. Just leave Iran alone. Let them fucking build nukes and shit to protect themselves from Israel. That's essentially what it is, you know, like, like Trump just recently came out and he's like, no, Israel can protect themselves from Syria. We already give them enough money. But it's like, you know, they're always like, oh, we need to do this, do that. And it's like, yeah, you know, like we got to admit, like, yeah, the Jews do control a lot of the fucking media. And that is something to talk about too, right? It's not something that people need to ignore because, you know, you look at like LeBron James, right? He goes out a little while ago, he's bitching about white people, blah, 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 blah. And then he says one thing about Jewish money. Everybody's like, oh, they lose their fucking shit, right? And this is one thing that really pissed me off because, like, you know, I saw something the other day and it says how Jews made Christmas. And it's this whole thing and it's in Toronto and it's saying how Jewish people really made Christmas and how they turned it away from its oppressive religious roots and made it more secular and open because they're like, oh, the Jews, they wrote all these songs, jingle bells, and all these other songs. Like, no, that ruined Christmas. They made it more commercialized, moved it away from the Christian roots. But I'm like, you know, stuff like that is what makes people fucking anti-Semitic. And look in Kentucky, in America right now, they're saying that they want to make a law to ban people boycotting Israel. Like, that's fucked up. They want to say if anybody works in a government, whatever, you can't boycott Israel. And everybody in Congress has to sign a thing to always promote Israel or not to go against Israel when they go into Congress. Like, it's, you know, the Zionists do control a lot of the fucking America's foreign policy. You know, that is why America is destabilizing the Middle East right now, is for Israel. You know, that's why they're going into Syria. That's why they went into Iraq. That's why they did all these things, is to destabilize that region so Israel could be safe, have supremacy, and stay in that fucking region, you know. And I'm not for Israel whatsoever. I don't care if it sounds anti-Semitic, because, you know, everything sounds anti-Semitic these days. Oh, you talk about this, you're anti-Semitic. No, I'm just going to talk about reality. Okay, I'm going to talk about reality. If the Jews control a lot of the media and you can't say anything about Jews, I'm going to fucking talk about that shit. If America's foreign policy is run by Israel, I'm going to talk about that shit, right? I don't care. I don't care how the fuck it sounds, because the truth is the truth. Now, I'm not saying it's some conspiracy, yada, 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 but there's lots of nepotism within society. There's lots of nepotism within groups. Groups are tribalistic. You know, you understand human nature. People are tribalistic. So it's not a stretch to believe that people are going to help their people above other people and create things that benefit them over others, right? That's human nature, right? Do you think all this can be stopped? Where has it been stopped? I don't think it can all be stopped. You know, I think that people are, you know, kind of too brainwashed to some extent. I don't know. You know, I don't want to be black-pilled. I always want to have hope, but, you know, I don't know. I think that there's always hope. Like, I think I will be fine. You know, I have faith in myself. You know, I'm like, hey, the world goes to shit. I think I can survive. I think I can, you know, this is why it's important. So I think I see a lot of people moving towards why these survival shows are getting more and more popularity. It's like people subconsciously know things are going to hit the fan eventually. So learn how to survive. Learn how to live independently. This is why I promote libertarian type ideology and shit, because that's what you're going to have to do one day when shit collapses anyways. You're going to have to learn how to depend on yourself. You're going to have to learn how to do all these things, because you're not going to have the government be there to do things for you, because you're going to be too weak. You're not going to know how to do shit, because we're all weak right now, because we're all dependent on the fucking government, and they do all these things for us. And that's going to set us up for failure. When shit hits the fan, a lot of us are going to die. A lot of us are going to starve, because, you know, you have kids that are in their 20s right now going to these classes to being taught how to be adults, because they don't know how to cut fucking food. They don't know how to fucking do laundry, and they're paying these people to teach them how to be an adult. Do you think those people are going to survive? No, they're going to fucking die. They're going to die so fucking fast, and it's going to be their stupid parents' fault. You know, that's why those two girls, Morocco, got beheaded because their parents are fucking retards. And they think, oh, I'm going to let these girls go these fucking Muslim countries and they're going to be safe and shit. No, you're an idiot. Those girls deserve to die because they're stupid. And, and right now, the Swedish government is trying to sue or trying to put people in jail for 4 years who are sharing the videos of those girls being beheaded, because the media is like, oh, they had neck wounds. They had some neck wounds. No, I saw the fucking video. Okay. The girl, she was on her fucking stomach. She probably was just raped. The guy came behind her with a knife and started slicing the back of her fucking neck. She started screaming. And then he turned around and cut her throat and beheaded her. That's what was in the fucking video. It's not some neck wounds, not a fucking neck wound. That's what was in the fucking video. But, that's what the media is going to fucking tell us. But it's crazy. It's crazy fucking shit. And it's really hard to stop because a lot of people are, brain dead. A lot of people are afraid, are weak, don't want to speak out because they're afraid of the consequences. But, there's a test I saw the other day. I was looking at it, and, they do a test where they have all these people lined up sitting, and there's like 5 of them, and they're all looking at this lines, right? And they're all different sizes, the lines. And the experiment is all the people are all actors except for one person. And they don't know. And all the actors say the wrong answer. They're like, what is the longest line? And they all say it's 2, right? Whereas it's actually 3. But the way, people work, they like to conform. Either they will see the answer as being different, because they'll be like, well, everybody else said it was 2, so maybe I must be wrong. Or they'll be like, I just don't want to push the group. I'm just going to conform because I don't want to go against the grain, right? So then you'll see in these test studies, like 30 to 40% of the people will have the wrong answer because they're going with the crowd. But as soon as you add one person, just one person who gives the right answer in this huge group of people that are giving the wrong answer, the one test subject that isn't an actor will say the right answer, because now they have one other person that is helping them, kind of like emboldening them to say the truth. So it's our own cowardice and our reluctance to say and speak about things that is allowing this to take place. If we were more vocal about it, we would be giving more people more strength to come out and speak about these things and to say, yeah, okay, we need less immigration, because right now everybody's afraid. Nobody wants to say different. That's why the good thing about Maxime Bernier, because without him coming in and speaking about immigration, this and that, you would have never had these parties talking about it and emboldening other Canadians to be like, okay, we can talk about multiculturalism. We can talk about diversity. Because before that, it was everybody is this and everybody is that. And, I see it, Canada has lost. Hey, Miles, long time no see. But I don't know, I never want to say something is lost, because as soon as you become black-pilled, then it is lost, right? That is the problem with being black-pilled. It's like, I fall towards it sometimes, but as soon as you become black-pilled, you don't try anymore. You stop trying, and you stop trying to find solutions to switch things back. And that's scary, right? You don't want to get to that stage. You don't want to get to that stage. You always want to have hope. There is always hope, because history doesn't necessarily repeat itself. Because if history repeated itself, we would still be in tribes. We wouldn't have progressed as a species like we have now, because if things didn't change, things do change, things can change, and we always got to remember that the only constant in life is change. That's it. Nothing else is that. The only constant in life is change. So things can go a different course. We can change directions, because once you become black-pilled, you will become alt-right. I'm telling you, like, I'm just saying, like, and I'm not saying that's necessarily bad or whatever, but I'm saying, like, You'll become all right to the sense where you stop caring. Like you will be like, fuck it, we're all gonna be replaced. Let's just implement some fucking authoritarian government that comes in and kicks all of these minorities out with force. Blah blah blah. And that's not even gonna happen. That's not gonna work. You're not gonna convince people to do that. So that's another pipe dream. So you're just gonna be stewing in your own bitterness and hatred. That's why these incels are so fucking angry and shit, because they're black pill. They're like, oh, I'm so ugly. Women hate me. I'm never gonna get laid whatsoever because women are all hypergamy or whatever, and they're never gonna choose me. So, oh, angry, and then they just stay angry. They stay that way, and they get black pilled. They don't believe that they can actually get a woman, so then they stay home, play video games, jerk off, do absolutely nothing, and they're like, oh, it's because I'm not a Chad, and it's like you're just fucking, you're black pilled, you're fucked, you ruined yourself, you have now become innate, you're just staying still because you think that, this is why there's this crabs in the bucket mentality in a black community, and this and that. Oh, the white man is holding us down. I can never achieve anything because the white man is always going to have his fucking back on his foot on my back. And this keeps people down. Never become black pilled. That is when you get fucked. But hey, Happy Fox, you're right. Becoming black pill is a failure of resolve. Yeah, like, exactly. Like the indigenous people of Europe don't matter. Black Pilled makes done great videos. I do like Black Pilled. I like his videos. There's some, I watch some of that content, and some of the stuff makes sense, but some of the stuff can lead people into resignation, into, okay, we're fucked. Like the propertarian guy just recently, he's come out. Have you ever heard of propertarianism? This guy, he's just come out recently. I don't know, maybe he's been around for a little while, but he's talking about propertarianism, and it's kind of like, he's like, we're all fucked. There's going to be a civil war, and the right is going to win that civil war, and we need to come up with a new system to take place after that civil war happens. But it's like, I think he's jumping the gun. I kind of agree that maybe that will happen. It's good to have a system set up for when collapse happens, you need to restart. That's smart. You need to do that. But to say that we've already won in a civil war, you're getting ahead of yourself. Never underestimate your enemy. Never underestimate your enemy. You think you're just going to win because we're right wingers and we have guns. Think again, okay? Think a fucking again. Don't underestimate your enemy. Don't be like, oh, these black people are low IQ and this, now. I'm not saying black people are our enemy or whatever, but I know it's kind of sounding like that. But like, in their scenario, in a civil war type thing, don't underestimate people. People do get trained. People are being trained right now to learn to use weapons, being infiltrated by ISIS. A lot of these Black Lives Matter groups are being infiltrated by ISIS. Nation of Islam does train people how to use weapons. So it's not smart to put your guard down and assume that you're going to win something and then just ignore preparation and then just go on to your other plan or whatnot. But it's like, I hope things can change. I think that, history does not always repeat itself, that we can do something different and maybe people can be changed, Did I get another? Hey, Rainy Steps. Sorry, I missed your super chat there. One godless woman is having live chat 30th. Oh, sorry. Oh, I missed that. On the 30th? Okay. I'll have to check that out. Let me check some more questions here. You are right. Becoming black pilled. Okay. I already read that. Henrik City. YouTube super chat on super stupid comments on YouTube. We need to ban immigration. $100. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what YouTube super chat on stupid comment. I'm not sure what that comment is. $100. Were you trying to give me $100? I might not be Chad, but I'm definitely not a Stacy. What is this? What is a Stacy? I'm not sure. And this is 1984. Imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. Yeah, we are living in 1984. There's massive doublespeak going on right now that I see coming from Trudeau and the leftist liberals all the fucking time. Just massive doublespeak about just everything. Like, like war is peace. Slavery is freedom. Essentially, like, oh, giving away our sovereignty is this. Patriotism is not nationalism or whatever. I've hunted, but no, I don't really hunt too much. My dad hunts. He lives in the country. I have like a deer in my fucking freezer, like a bunch of deer meat, like natural meat, natural fat, not a bunch of hormones in it. See, that is the food that we should be eating, and it's not some vegan bread, sugary food with a bunch of fucking pills that you're not even going to properly digest. Like, why live like that? Why, like, putting yourself through that type of misery? There's no point. There's no point. Humans, that just means you're a bad hunter. If you're starving yourself, like, fasting, and you're like, eating all these other roots and breads and all this, like, you're just a bad hunter in nature. And, those foods are not going to do as much for you as if you were a good hunter and you got meat and animals and killed them and ate them instead. That is the best food for us, for humans. But my Trudeau is a weirdo. Trudeau soak the ice water and cook with liquor or vinegar. I'm deplorable. Let me see a comment here. Do you hunt? We're on the brink of civil war in America. Fortunately, the patriots have almost all the guns. Yeah, and that is good. Liberals are afraid of weapons, Oh, good night, Linda. Comatose from B-Day drinks. Yeah, I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Let's conquer the world. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say Jews are using the U.S. to conquer the world. I think that, they're definitely using, I guess, Israel is definitely using America in that sense. But, there is beneficialness on both sides, like these globalists or whatever, like these military industrial complex people that are building these weapons and selling them are making a lot of money as well. So it's you don't want to blame everything on Jewish people, because there's then what, you're going to ignore Trudeau, you're going to ignore the government in South Africa, what they're doing to those people. You're going to ignore all these other globalists. To only look at one group of people is stupid. And it's going to lead eventually, people with the way that they go after sometimes the Jewish question and how they blame pretty much everything on Jews to some extent is not really helpful either. Not at all. Because, you look at that guy in Pittsburgh that killed those people, like that was kind of instigated because he was always in groups, which is kind of the media's fault for banning people and relegating them only to fucking Gab or certain other sites. I'm not saying Gab promoted xenophobia or anything like that, but just always talking about how the Jews did this and the Jews did this and the Jews are bad. Jews. Eventually it gets into your head and you're like, you get mad and you start to hate them and you start to think that they're all bad. And then you go in a mosque and you kill a bunch of innocent people that have nothing to do with anything. So be careful about your rhetoric, how you talk. It's okay to point out that Jews control the media. It's okay to point out that they control a lot of banks and all these other things. But, when you start being very general and say Jews are going to run everything and this, and Jews want to control everything, it's okay. Well, what Jews? All Jews? The Sephardic Jews? These Jewish people have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. They're just trying to live their life. Like, there's lots of people who are trying to take control of this. Trudeau is trying to fucking be a dictator. The Chinese government is trying to be a dictator to their people. They're trying to get global supremacy on the markets. There's just corruption everywhere you fucking go. So, yeah, most billionaires probably are Jews, right? I don't disagree with you there, but there's nepotism. I'm sure they're very I can't even say the word, but so is every other group, right? And I don't know. There's definitely discussions to be had, and I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, we can't ever speak about Israel and the Holocaust because as soon as we do, you're an anti-Semitic, and if you question how many people died, that's bad. We need to have open discussion about anything, even if it makes people think that another Holocaust is going to start from it. That's not going to happen. Tough luck, whatever. We talk about lots of Holocausts that happen all over the place, or we don't talk about them, but they're not illegal, unlike that. So it's like, but that is furthering the, Jewish, conspiracies. And then they're not really conspiracies anymore because it really happens sometimes. Like I said, in that one place, they're trying to make it illegal for all these people to boycott Israel. Like, that's fucked up. That is fucked up. Why? What country where that makes sense? Like, there's no other country where they're going to make it illegal. They're not going to say it's illegal to boycott Saudi Arabia. It's illegal to boycott China. It's illegal to boycott this, illegal to boycott that. But that's because there's a bunch of Christian people that are kind of like, oh, Jew, this is the land of the Jews, and we believe all this nonsense, and this is their land, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they should have never been put there from the beginning, because now we have all these problems we're dealing with now because of a bunch of religious nonsense. Sorry, but that's kind of what it is. And it's like, well, this is their homeland. We'll put them there. And now we're going to have to defend them. It's like, no, that's stupid. It should have never been done. And that's why I'm an atheist, essentially. But just stupidity. Rainy Steps, money towards ammo. Oh, thanks, man. Thank you for all the donations, Rainy. You're very generous, man. I really appreciate all your donations. Thank you very much, man. Would Canada be better off if Canada and US joined to make one country? No, we wouldn't be better off. The natural progression of our societies are probably going to get smaller. As we see, super states don't work. The larger our country gets, the worse it kind of gets, right? It's not sustainable. It's too hard to run a country efficiently. The more people, more varied people you have. This is why you need small governments that are running smaller communities, because that is the only way that things are going to be run more efficiently, how resources are going to be allocated efficiently, because the people in that community know who needs help, know where to give the welfare money to, where this goes. But somebody who's living in Ottawa doesn't know the best place to spend money in BC, in this small little town in BC. Just like somebody in America is not going to know any better than them. So it's, I don't know. It's almost like we need to be all aligned, but we need to be all independent at the same time. So it's I think Canada is going to split apart eventually, to be honest. And that's just going to be the eventualness of Canada, because it's just already you see Alberta wants to separate, and I would want to separate too. If you're being siphoned, all of your money is being siphoned by Quebecers and people from BC and all these other provinces, and you're getting nothing from it. You're getting shit on. You're losing more than 100,000 jobs in your oil sector, and then people are just like poo-pooing at you, saying that you're like a stupid conservative, and then they're living high off your fucking money, and they don't have to develop their own fucking resources. And this is the problem with socialism. It's like these countries don't have to develop their own resources. That's the problem. And these provinces, if there was an equalization payment, they would have to develop their own resources, and they wouldn't be reliant upon Alberta, and then we'd actually get some prosperity in Canada. But that's not the way it works, because everything is connected, because they can steal money from here and throw it over here and nobody can say anything about it. That's why we have all this dysfunction right now in Canada. It's a large government. So Canada and US merging, I don't think would be a good idea. Maybe initially, but America is going to split apart. California, it's just a matter of time before California could changes completely, before, you know, even like Texas eventually gets swarmed in by illegals and all these other people. And these places are going to be so vastly different from the other regions of America that they're going to separate off and form their own little type countries, because everybody else that is attached to them is not going to want to pay for that over time. And they're going to be like, no, we don't. You become your own country. And then you might see some conflict, because people are going to be losing resources. And when people lose resources, they fight. They attack other people. So, you know, this is why we need to stop immigration fast, because we are headed for disaster. And a lot of people are going to die. And we don't want that. I don't want that. You don't want that. So we need to stop this immigration, because it's only going to get worse. People are tribalistic. They're going to go and then they're going to want to expand their territories. This is what humans do, because their numbers are going to grow, and they're going to want resources for their people above your people. This is how everybody should naturally be, and this is how people are going to be. This is why you want to keep a culture that is fairly homogenous, so then they're not all taking advantage of each other. So they're not all trying to one-up each other. And especially Western civilizations have that culture already. This is why we have prosperity. This is why we have wealth. It's because we have a culture of trust. We have a culture, we have property rights. This is why we're wealthy. And this is why other countries are not wealthy. You know, China had to advocate and it had to steal some of our type of policies, add some type of capitalism in their system just to be functional now. So it's like, you know, it is the freedom in our countries that make our countries wealthy. We can't have freedom with a large government bringing in immigrants who want to run things differently. So it's, you know, we need a small government. That's the only way to really fix things in my mind. Check out See the Demons. If you guys got any more questions, just highlight my name. Hey, mysterious blue space entity. Hey, Jesus Christus. Abolish the federal government and steal the U.S. Constitution, and we can start there. Well, you know, the U.S. Constitution, I think, is good, but it didn't go far enough. And we see the results of the U.S. Constitution. It led to the largest government on the planet. So what went wrong there? You know, it slowly but surely lost its power, or they started giving more and more power to, you know, the Congress or the president, and they started, like, you know, slowly making it less and less free. So there was obviously a mechanism within the U.S. Constitution that allowed that to happen. So something needs to be changed with the U.S. Constitution. It didn't go far enough and allowed the parasitic nature of leftism to creep inside of it and destroy it. So we need to make something that is avoidant, that leftism can't come in and take over. Like, they take over everything. We see the educational institutions, all this, they come in, they take over. And the same with the U.S. Constitution. They found a way, they came in, and they took over. So really, I think it's anarcho-capitalism, essentially. That is probably one of the key. But I've been seeing this one guy, propertarianism, although I haven't really looked into it. He hasn't really fully explained it yet, so I'm not really sure. But some of the stuff he has said, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You know, he kind of sounds like he understands what creates wealth, because he's talking about you know, I just saw a video of his, and he's talking about, you know, wealth and how why our countries are richer than third world countries, and is, you know, he clearly understands it's because of freedom, because of trust within the nation, because of our less corrupt institutions. That's all he was talking about. So I'm like, that's good. That means that you understand that we need small government, libertarianism type of thing, right? In order to have a good economy. Has the government ever been reduced without violence? Well, yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, once we have the government, we kind of have to use the government to reduce the government, right? Or you just let it collapse. One or the other. You know, we can either start like Trump is using the government right now to build a wall to technically reduce the government, because by building a wall, keeping out a bunch of illegal aliens that are going to be stealing money in the tens of billions from residents, you are essentially lowering the burden of the state and reducing the size of government in a way, right? But that is, we only have to do this because we are in a statist type of economy, and where all of our money is being stolen and given to these people through welfare, through all these other programs, that we now need to, violate somebody's property rights to protect somebody's property rights. You know, we got to violate people's property rights, steal their money to build a wall to protect people's property rights from all the illegal aliens coming across into our country, stealing shit. So, you know, as things are right now, you know, we got to make do with the way things are, and sometimes we got to use the government. But initially, one day it's just gonna, I think, go to shit. But nonetheless, let's see here. I'm going to build an Ancapistan one day in Canada. You know, that'd be nice. You know, I'd hope, you know, I understand it's kind of like an ideal, right? It's not something that's really going to happen per se. Like, people are, you know, it's going to happen through necessity in some ways. Like, if things do collapse, we're more or less going to be in an anarcho-capitalist type society type thing, right? You know, there won't be a government. So, you know, you got to learn to work with people. You're going to need to have a strong family. You're going to need to stay with your wife to raise your kid. You're going to need, because, you know, she's going to be incapacitated. You're going to have to go out and find food, because there's not going to be all these resources available like there is now, like the welfare state, like all these other things. So people are naturally going to have to become more self-reliant, libertarian, whatever, over time anyways, because it's not sustainable. We're running $30 billion deficits each year. Our budget isn't going to be balanced till 2040. And, you know, that's a lie. It's going to be even longer than that. So they're just kicking the can down the road. We cannot survive off of debt and fiat currency forever. It's going to run out. It's going to collapse. Do you think the ban all immigrants is a stupid comment? Ban all immigrants? Well, I said ban immigration. I didn't say ban all immigrants. But, you know, yeah, I wouldn't ban all immigrants per se. I want to stop immigration and stop the people coming in. But, you know, what do you define as immigrants? Somebody's been here for 20 years. I'm not going to ban them. They've been here for 10 years. I'm not going to ban them. I'm going to kick them out. No. You have a right. You're in Canada and you become a Canadian citizen. You're a Canadian citizen. But we need to stop the flow of immigration that is coming in to Canada right now. Like that needs to happen. Kevin is full of crap. Kevin Spacefar is full of crap. Look at his channel. He posted bullshit about how there are aliens here and they're without citations. Unless I don't find anything he says. I'm not sure. Yes, Fox. It's overran man with them. Probably put the fire device together himself. If anybody's got any questions, just highlight my name. People were lighting the fires in the Okanagan region this fire season in August. Yeah, right. You know, that's the thing with a lot of this climate change bullshit. These fires are being started by people. Even in California, they keep citing this California fire that killed all these people about climate change, or like, oh, look at California. Trump was right. He came out and he said they're not raking the forests. They're not doing proper, inspections, whatever. And they're the reasons why it spread so much. It shouldn't have spread that much. It was very preventable. The fires in BC or in Canada here not too long ago, those were all preventable. All of them were preventable. But they leave that tidbit out and they say, oh, look, fire, bad, global warming, be afraid. And I saw this article come out where there's all these people going to psychiatrists now because they're afraid of global warming. And they have this global warming fear, it's called, or something. And they're all being given medication for it because they're all looking at the mainstream media that's telling them, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. Trump is killing us by deregulating things. Look at the Paris Climate Accord. If we don't fix things by 2030, the oceans are going to drown us all. And we're all going to be suffocating in coal dust. Oh my God, we're all going to fucking die and murder. And then people are going to the doctor and be like, I'm afraid, and give me drugs. And they're like, okay, here you go. Here's some drugs. And it's like, they used to laugh at Republicans who were like, oh, look at Snowball. That you believe in climate change. It's snowing outside. But they do the same thing. Every time a fire happens, oh, global warming. A flood happens, global warming. And you see how preventable it was and how they almost manufacture it. And you're like, this. But the dumb, stupid people are like, oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, global warming. I'm afraid. But this is what you get when you trust the media. You get your emotions go crazy because you believe all the bullshit that they're feeding you, that you believe all the nonsense, and you're like, you fear everything. How afraid are you of the 10 million Canadians can't get their happy pills? How afraid you for the day 10 million Canadians? Yeah, right. Well, when that happens, they're going to have to adjust to life without these drugs, and that will be better for them, right? But that's the thing. Canadians, we're all drugged. We're all drugged in our societies right now. All these medications that they're prescribing people that we don't fucking need. It's like, they don't want to actually solve any problems. They're just going to be like, here, take this Ritalin medication for your kid. And then everything will be better. You won't have ADD anymore. Take this autistic medicine. Why are people like this now? Why are people developing all these things? No, here, just take this. It'll reduce your symptoms. Does the West split? What do you mean, does the West split? Yeah, the West will split. Everything will split eventually. It's just a matter of time, really. Oh my God. Thank you, Mr. December. Do you think infighting on the right is helpful or harmful? Should there be an oath not to punch right in 2019? Well, I think it is helpful. It really depends, right? I think we need to criticize each other. We can't, not punching left is kind of what, not punching right is what the left does to the left. You see, they kind of unless you go really out there and they have to kind of denounce you, they cover each other all the time. They get away with everything all the time. But then, your institution, your organization gets filled with corrupt fucking people. And sometimes those people need to be called out. And some people use that on the right thing to be essentially controlled opposition. They come out, they discredit us by doing a bunch of stupid, crazy shit. And they're like, don't punch right, don't punch right. And it's like, no. You're making me look bad. You're making everybody else look bad. So we're going to call you the fuck out. And we need to call you out. And the thing is, it's I'm not calling out, I'm not punching right in a sense. When I do stories, I'm going to focus on left-wing things, on immigration. I'm not going to do stuff about, oh, well, Trump, he screwed over these people 20 years ago on a business deal. Yeah, I'm sure I can find some stuff like that. But you know what? 95% of the media is already telling you that. They're all telling you that bullshit. So, no, I'm going to tell you some stuff that they're not telling you. I'm going to talk about stuff that they're not talking about because they're not talking about this shit. And we need to talk about it. And yeah, I'm not going to go out of my way attacking people on the right who kind of like get some things wrong here and there. Like people, they'll make it their mission to go after, like, I don't know, Paul Joseph Watson or this person, or like Stefan Molyneux, kind of like the alt-right is doing right now. Like they're stupid. Honestly, they're fucking stupid. They're idiots. They keep going after people. They're like, you're a gatekeeper. This. You know what I'm saying? They get obsessed with the whole Jew fucking thing. And they're like, you're a gatekeeper. You're this. Oh, Stefan Molyneux is this. Oh, this person's stupid. Oh, let's attack them. Let's attack them. And it's like, okay, these guys are on your side. They don't want to have a minority population. Okay, that's neither do you, neither do they. It's stupid to see people attack their allies for trivial things. You know, attack people like, yeah, Candace Owens, who is like a controlled opposition, and some other fucking controlled opposition. Attack those fucking people. But attacking people that have slight differences to you, like, I don't really like Sargon, a lot of his ideas and shit. I think he's kind of an idiot, but I'm not going to go out of my way like trying to fuck his life over and destroy him, because who do you think they're going to come after next? They want to get rid of people like him, people like me, people like on the right, or even some alt-right people. They want to get rid of all of us. They think we're all the same. So we need to not you know, we can criticize each other, we can come out and say things, but we can't make things up. We can't say this guy is a pedophile because of this. We can't contact the Wall Street Journal and try to get the kill stream removed like Sargon did to there, because he's like, oh, look, they're talking about this, you know, and vice versa, and then people trying to get Sargon fucked over with UKIP and get his Patreon removed and all this other, like that's dumb. That's dumb. Do not attack people like that for no reason. It's okay to criticize some things and to be like, oh, let's, you know, I think that he is a covering for this person or whatever, and I think that his ideology is wrong. I think my ideology is right. But like, you know, I see way too much, especially from the alt-right. It's like that's what I'm saying. They're black-pilled, right? So they've resigned themselves that we've lost. They're like, we lost. Now what we need to do is just go after people that we think are gatekeepers, that are pretty much 90% on our side, essentially. And we're going to go after them and try to discredit them for any calling them a Jew. Like, that discredits somebody. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry, but it doesn't discredit somebody. But you know, be like just focusing on them, and it's just like you're stupid, man. You're stupid. You're black-pilled, and now you're just in this state of like, oh, we're just gonna attack them, and then you just ignore everything else. You ignore trying to wake up other people to what is going on. There is still a chance to turn things around, but you get black-pilled, and you're like, oh, we're fucked. Fuck it. Let's just, you know, do this and do that. It's like, no. There's always hope. As soon as you lose hope, you're nothing. You know, as soon as you lose hope, there's just no point. Just slit your fucking wrists. Really, at that point, just slit them and resign yourself to your fucking fate. You know, it's just like those fucking incels that are like, oh, women are all this, they're all cunts. I just can't do anything. I'm gonna go and jerk off and play video games because all women are bitches. I'm black-pilled. They only like looks, so I'm not even gonna fucking try. It's like my dad is like 5'2", and he has 4 kids, like, you know, and he gets women and stuff. And it's like, I'm like, you know, but to an incel, he'd be like, no, that person, it's impossible for them to get a life, get a wife, do this and that, and they've already resigned themselves. And they've already lost. You know, it's like you've already lost when you say you've lost. When you say I can't do it, you've already lost. You lost already. You may as well just go away, because you know that is what you hate. Let's see. Comment. Have you experienced any negativity because of your channel when you are not on camera? No, I'm not big enough to get any really comments from people or anybody on the street or anything, you know, and I don't think anybody has said anything to me. I've had a couple news agencies. And hey, Rainy Steps, thank you again for the donation. Here you go. Get more water. Thank you. Yeah, those water's expensive, you know. I'm drinking out of, what do you call it? One of those mugs that you get from like a jar. So like, yeah, see, you know, I'm not spending money on cups. I'm going to use a jar that, like, I don't know, some pickles or something were in. This works. Country resource tables that they are coming from. Rich countries, corrupt management. Yep. You know, a mason jar. Yeah, there you go. Don't correct me. Don't correct me or I'm going to boot you guys all off my channel. Okay. Nobody corrects AJ on his channel. Damn you bastards. Mason jar. Mason. Like mason jar. All right. I'm banning some people pretty soon. Pretty soon. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to ban anybody. Although, unless somebody says it one more time. Should have a show. Social media is like a smoking gun. If you mess up, your brains go all over the floor. Yeah, right? You know, a lot of people, like, look at Baked Alaska. Look at Baked Alaska. He completely destroyed his fucking channel. If anybody knows, like he was like kind of like a personality, and then he went on Blood Sports, just made himself out to be a complete retard, and it came out all like went super Christian for a little while, and then like now he's away. Now he's just gone. And I'm like, I feel almost bad for him. What about big black dicks? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You're obsessed with that. Maybe you should you know, ask somebody who knows more about those. You know, I'm straight, heterosexual male. Mason jars, it's all coming together now. Yeah, Mason, you know, Illuminati. Like, I look pretty Jewish, you know. I'm pretty sure that I you know, am doing some shit. Well, I check it out. Oh my, I feel loser. Trudeau wants to push Albertians over the edge. Well, you know, thank you again for the $20 donation, Mr. December. You know, it's a good question, though. You know, I don't think, though, that I think that, you know, obviously we need to criticize each other, but there's a lot of stupid criticisms going on that are unnecessary. And it's just, you know, each case is different, right? You know, it's hard. I don't like making these blatant, like these general statements that's like, always do this, because, you know, circumstances change, and sometimes your strategies change, right? Can you get vid editing tools, man? I will show you them. Yeah, fuck. I should get some video editing tools. You know, I would like to maybe set it up so I can have like a story or whatever, maybe like some other people do. And then I can go and read through some stuff with it for you guys. I'm sure that would maybe be more entertaining than just me standing or sitting in front of you and talking, you know, or whatever. But I do want to learn how to do that more, because sometimes there are stories where I just want to kind of like bring it up and talk about it or talk about a video that's kind of a little bit hard to sum up and summarize in speech and whatever, right? So, you know, James Nash, I'll show you how to get video instruction. Jim, I would send you any links. How do I contact AJ somehow? Well, you can contact me on what do you call it? Gab Minds. I'm on Gab Minds in the description below, or ajelicits@gmail.com. You can contact me there. You know, or even in, I don't know, the comment section here. But I don't have a Twitter anymore because I've been banned from Twitter permanently, because they're a communist fucking regime. James, so how do I contact? Okay, I already told you that. MSNBC. I don't use Gab after the data breach. Oh, yeah. I just post on Gab my videos, really. Do you think the McDonald's $10 will be a collector's item? Yeah, right. Where it's being replaced by that fucking Viola person. Now we're gonna have a gay loony, right? Like, you know, it's crazy that they're gonna replace the first prime minister from our money with a black woman who did nothing, who did fucking nothing. She is useless in Canadian history. She did absolutely nothing. There was not a law in fucking New Brunswick or whatever about this or that. There was this it was an own private business that was like, oh, well, you know, we're going to put white people in the front, black people in the back. And then she came up with this bullshit excuse like, oh, well, you know, I couldn't really see, so I went in the front seat. And, you know, but she paid less for her seat to sit in the back. Like, it was less. And then the seats in the front were more expensive. So she went and then was going to sit in the front seat. And they're like, no, you have to leave. She's like, but I can't see. And this is discrimination. And maybe he was discriminating, but it was a private business. Let private businesses discriminate. And they're like, oh, well, what did it change? It just got like that guy in trouble. That's all it did. Got that fucking baker, got that fucking guy in trouble. Oh, you did so good for Canadian history. It's like, fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. Fuck off with this fucking gay loony bullshit. This is all virtue signaling that Trudeau is doing to get minority votes. That's all it is. Gays, vote for me. I'll make a fucking loony. And I'm going to spend all this money reprinting all this shit so you can have a gay fucking loony. And then you put this black woman on this fucking thing to appeal to all the minorities that are coming in your country. And be like, well, I did that. I'm the liberal government did that money thing. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't care. Fuck that bullshit. You know, no. And they're like, don't worry. They're McDonald and this guy is going to be put on a bigger bill, $100 note. Well, guess what? Nobody has $100 bills. Nobody uses that shit. People use $10 bills, $20 bills. Okay. So that's all they're ever going to see. They're going to see some black woman on the... What is that going to do with the psyche of fucking immigrants who already think they own our fucking country? No. No. And it's like, we can't even turn it back now. Because if you do, oh, you're a racist. You're putting the money back to the way it was with a white man on the cover of it. Oh, you're a racist. And we know the conservatives are cucks and will never fucking go back on that because they're bitch cucks that are like too afraid to be called out. So they're not gonna fucking reverse this shit, which it should be reversed. It's angering me. It's angering me so much. And it's like, it's not because I hate black people. Oh, you just hate women and black people. No, my fucking girlfriend is black. Okay. I don't hate black people, for fuck's sakes. It's because we're replacing the prime minister, putting him on other bills, and we're removing two other prime ministers, like Mackenzie and another one, from our bills entirely. So we are replacing two prime ministers and moving other ones up to some other bullshit. And it's like, and people are like, well, what do you have a problem with that? Would you like it if I came into China and then change your fucking money with the face of Trudeau on that fucking money and put his fucking stupid face on that shit on your most commonly used bill? No. But whatever, you know. Canada's a post-national country. We belong to everybody. Blah, 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 blah. Well, thank you very much, Slavery McSlaverson. I love your name, man. That's fucking a great name. Thank you for the donation, man. I really appreciate that. That is fucking awesome, man. Thank you. And like I said, man, you got a sweet name. I always laugh every time, and I love your icon with the fucking two birds or whatever. I can't remember their name, but I'm terrible with remembering names. What are those birds called? Ostriches, you know. Chinese would give you a big fat middle finger. Yeah, fuck the Chinese, you know, honestly. Like, not Chinese people. All right. I like some Chinese people. I'm just saying, like, yeah. Fuck China. Fuck China completely. Did you see that East Indian statue they put up in Manitoba? No, I didn't. I did not see that, but I saw the fucking Canadian park that they put up that was uh, in, a monument to the founder of fucking Pakistan. Like, Jesus Christ, man. And, and then that hoax where it was cut off a day after Maxime Bernier said something about it. It was a hoax. It was 100% a fucking hoax. It was cut way too cleanly. It was all placed there nicely. I'm like, no way. No, that was a hoax. But, it is really frustrating seeing Canadian monuments being replaced with other things. It's like, I don't even have respect for a lot of, some of the old prime ministers per se, really. But I don't want them replaced with like some other fucking people that I have no relation to whatsoever. No, like, no, I don't care. Like, all immigrants should understand that Canada belongs to Canadians, specifically white people, Western white people, and that you need to respect our culture, our history, our monuments, and that you should not want to replace it with your monuments. And as soon as you do, we need to kick you out, and we need to find, we need to ban everybody from your country entering into Canada. It's what I would do if I was prime minister. After they made that monument, I would ban everybody from now on entering into Pakistan. Because I'm like, no, you can't do this in our country. Like, if you do something like that, we're gonna ban everybody from that country ever entering into Canada ever again, because you're taking over. You're trying to take over, and that cannot happen. Can't happen. I don't want I don't want my country looking like your country. I don't want it. You don't want my country looking like your country. I don't want my country looking like your country. So let's keep it that way. Stay in your fucking lane. That's what I meant to say. I got them confused. Did you see the East Indian? Oh yeah, right. That's the one you meant. But yeah, it was Pakistani. It's bullshit. I'm still waiting on my laptop to boot up. Just wait. Now has Islamic Provincial Party. Yeah, you know what? The thing is, I was reading the Islamic Provincial Party, and you know what the funny thing is that even they acknowledge in one of their things, they said that if we don't fix the problem with marriage right now in the family, this is directly from the policy of the Islamic Party of Ontario, Canada is going to be reliant 100% on immigration to replace their population. So I was reading this. I'm like, even those people, the Ontario Party, Islamic Party, understands that we need to get our family in order so we don't have to rely on immigration. Islamic Party of Ontario. But I was reading that, and like everything else I disagreed with because it was like obvious Sharia law. But this one line made me, I was like, huh, okay. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. It's right here. Okay, yeah, this is where it is. But okay, one of their policies under social policies. So marriage is a sacred union between a man and a woman. The birth of babies of the next generation and survival of human species depends on this institution. Which is true. Majority of Ontarians and Canadians living as single moms and dads are affecting the sound and healthy growth of children. If the situation continues, this society will rely 100% on immigrants and from various nations where the traditional family system is protected. The Canadian family system and marriage institution must be restored for the survival of the coming generations. So, that's why I'm like, look at these Muslims are even saying that we need to fucking fix our families so we don't rely 100% on immigrants. So, like, even they're saying it. This is great. That's great news, honestly, because we could use that. We could say, hey, we could point to that and say, so are these guys racist? Are these guys racist for saying that we don't want to be reliant on immigration? Because look at, it's the only party that is saying we need to fix the family structure so we don't have to rely on immigrants. The only party that says that is the Islamic Party of Ontario. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck? Like, how they can say that. They can say that. But it's like, you know, that's it. The majority of it is like, you know, no, we want Sharia law. We gotta live under Sharia law. And it was like, no, I don't want that. But even they acknowledge that we need a family unit together if we don't want to be reliant on immigrants. And you know, that, like I said, we can use that. We can say, we can point to that and say, see, are these guys racist? They understand we need to reduce, or we need to fix this so we're not relying on immigrants. And maybe they're doing it for their own selfish reasons, right? Like they're like, well, once we make everybody into Muslims, if we just keep letting unrestrained immigration in, we might let in a bunch of like Chinese people that are Hindus and Buddhists, and we don't want that. We want the world, all Canada to be Muslim. But whatever, at least they understand, at least they're saying that we need to fix the family unit so we're not reliant on immigrants. But like I said, we can use this, point to that, and be like, see, are these people racist? Even they acknowledge it. But, you know, that is something I found really interesting when I did read that. And I was like, that makes me think that there is some hope that we can work with some immigrant groups per se to reduce immigration. Maybe even a Muslim group. Who knows? Like, we can't close ourselves off completely. And we gotta understand we could work with people to retain people that are not white, that are not Western, whatever, to retain a Western civilization. I'm not saying go work with Muslims and we need to trust these people and stuff, but hey, they're talking about it. They're talking about the immigrant thing. So that lets us know that that they're conscious of it as well. And that trust me, I've spoken to lots of people, black people, different races. They're like, yeah, I want to reduce immigration or stop it entirely too. And I respect Canada and I want to be respectful to this country and its culture. And I don't want the culture to change. Lots of people like that, like more than you may think, that we could side with potentially. And, you know, that Islamic Party, even here, like I said, you know, the society, you know, this direct quote from these people right here, like it's not bad. So I rely 100% on immigration. But yeah, I'll put it in the link right now so you guys can look at it. But look at it. Look at policies and social. It's literally the first thing. Here, let me put it here. But you'll see, and it's like, man, like what the fuck? Why? Like we need to implement that little policy thing in everybody else's policy and say it, because like I said, you know, all you need is one person to speak out, then other people can speak out. So if these Muslims are saying this shit, then we can say it too. If these Muslims are saying we need to fix the family units so we're not relying on immigrants, that means larger parties can fucking say it. But they're just too pussy to say it, or they don't want to say it because they want to replace us with cheap fucking labor from third world nations. One or the other, you know. But either or is bad, because, you know, you being a pussy and you doing it on purpose has the same results in the end of the day, is us being replaced. That is the thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. Really, it really is. You know, nothing else matters other than survival. Nothing else matters other than being alive and having your children survive. Nothing else. And if anybody tells you different, they're lying to you and they're trying to control you, manipulate you to have you be their slave and have you work for them. That is the truth. You know, yeah, we need to take care of our own people first, you know, no matter what. Yeah, this is beyond alarming. Swack of moss busted in Germany recently. Yeah, well, Germany, they want to make it so they're going to charge Muslims or something to run their churches or something. I remember they're saying, but, you know, because they already do that for Christians. They're trying to get like outside money out of it. It's like, no, just kick them out. Just don't have Muslims in your country and you're not going to have problems. You know, why is there no problems in Poland with Islamic terrorism? You know why? Because there's no Muslims in Poland. That's why there's no problems with Islamic terrorism. It's not part and parcel of living in a big city. It's part and parcel of living with a bunch of Muslims who think you stole everything from them or whatever. They're jihadists and hate Westerners and want to kill people. That's why. Not because, like, fuck. I hate London. I hate Sadiq Khan. I hate those people so fucking much. And it's like, just don't stab. Just don't stab. We'll release more commercials about stabbing and how it's uncool in London. And then all these kids are going to fucking listen and stop stabbing each other to death. It's like, no, you're letting in cultures who are stabby. You're letting in stabby cultures. That's why you're seeing all these stabbings. Like, you know, it's not, yeah, bad knives. Blunt the knives. If we blunt all these kitchen knives, the problem would be solved. You know, if we release commercials and have like a rap and be like, yo, 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 knives are not cool. Yo, 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 this is gonna work. It's like, you know, so people, they're disconnected from reality. They're disconnected from the natural state of humans. They're disconnected from their eyes and their brains from seeing the fucking reality in front of them, that all cultures are not the same, that importing people from civilizations that act barbarically, you're going to get barbaric behavior. What is there to know? Like, use your fucking brains. Use your fucking brains. Stop listening to this leftist bullshit. Okay? Like, you know, it just bothers me how stupid people are. And, you know, like, we are overpopulated and with stupid people, and there needs to be a fucking, and there will be a correction. Don't get me wrong. Like, there will be a correction. There always is a correction. And, a bunch of people are going to fucking die. You know, a lot of people are going to starve to death. A lot of people are going to get fucking killed. And, you know, because the world can't handle this amount of fucking people anyways. It's just not sustainable. Not sustainable. There's going to be massive death. You know, it's just a matter of time. So learn to take care of your own and your own people, to look out for yourself and to learn how to take care of yourself, because when push comes to shove, all this bullshit nonsense leftist speak is not going to help you. No, don't discriminate no matter what. It's like, okay, don't do that. See how that works out for you. See how that really works out for you in life. It's not going to. You know, we're naturally racist as people. We are naturally racist, and that is for survival. You know, it is for survival. You know, if you wake up in a room of 10, I don't know, 10 white people, you feel kind of safe. If you wake up in a room of 10 black Nigerian people, you're not going to feel very safe, and you're not going to be as safe. That is the truth, because they don't see you as the same as they see themselves, and people will always take from the group that looks less like them as opposed to taking a group that looks like them first. People are tribalistic. They always will be tribalistic. It's not going to go away. So, you know, we got to understand these basic facts of fucking reality. And then we're not going to be stupid like those dumb Swedish girls going to Morocco thinking everybody's the same. Because then they get their heads cut off. No time in history. No time in any point in history would two girls feel safe to go and travel in other countries with different cultures like that. Because they knew they would get raped. They knew they would get their heads cut off. They knew all these things. They weren't idiots. But now they are idiots. And their ignorance is not bliss. Their ignorance is going to lead to the destruction of their civilization. Like that's what we're headed towards. We're headed for destruction. And it's the ignorance that is creating that, you know, just this idea that, oh, you know, kumbaya, everybody's the exact same, this and that, this and that. It's like, you know, that is only being directed, you know, to white people. Everybody else isn't that fucking stupid on the planet. They all think that way. The only other people who don't think that way are white people. And so the funny thing is, like, I don't want to be tribalistic. I don't want to be tribalistic. I don't want to have to do these things. But you see the world the way it is, and you see how things are. You see how people are. And you're like, well, I guess I have to be. I have to be. You know, I have to be. I have to look out for my own people first. I have to look out for white people first because they're being attacked and constantly. And if I don't, then nobody else will. And if you don't, nobody else will. Nobody's going to stand up and defend these people and shit. And me be like these stupid white people. They spend all their time worrying about minorities and people being racist towards minorities and stuff. And that's not good. I'm not racist towards minorities, but like, man, there's lots of problems facing your own people. Just like these dumb fucking liberals. Oh, let's give all our money to third world countries and just ignore the bums on our own street. Let's not help these people. Let's not spend time helping these people. Let's help other people. Well, you're just giving away all of the wealth, and eventually your civilization is going to degrade, and you're not going to have all this wealth that you do have now and the luxuries you have. When all those luxuries are gone, your morality is going to go straight out the window anyways. It's going to go straight out the fucking window, and you're going to be like, oh, fuck, man, I should have just, you should have just been an asshole now in the present so you don't have to be a murderous fucking asshole in the fucking future when resources are scarce and you have to do these things. We want to prevent this. We want to prevent the outcome that is going to happen eventually. We want to prevent the massive death. We want to prevent the fighting, the infighting that is eventually going to happen. We will run out of things, like, so we need to stop mass populating the planet for one thing, because that is not helping. And the world is a small planet. We have finite resources. It makes no sense to continuously grow our populations. And one of the only ways we have been able to do that is through eating unnatural foods like wheat and all these other things that help grow our populations. But now we have sickly populations. But it's all going to crumble. It's all going to go downhill eventually, right? You can't. It's not sustainable. Like I said, most of the nutrients, most of the soil we have is completely nutrient deficient. It has no nutrients left in the soil. That's because we're not farming it properly. And then, so now all this food that people are eating have no nutrients in it. We're all just eating filler food, essentially. So it's, we need to reduce the population somehow. And, that's going to have to start with not redistributing so much fucking wealth to begin with into third world countries. Thank you, Happy Fox, for your donation, man. I really appreciate it. If you got anything to say, just throw it in the chat and I will read it. I meant to send 25 off. You don't have to send 25, man. Thank you very much for the donation. That very appreciated, Happy Fox. But if you have anything you want to say, just let me know, and I'll put it and I'll read it in the chat. AJ hates Chinese. Yeah. I'm getting more and more distasteful of Chinese people, not necessarily Chinese specifically, but just I'm just like, fuck China in general. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with China anymore. And everybody's like, Russia, 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 China. No. Let's worry about China. I'm 29, by the way. Happy Fox, if you're asking me. Some of us plant cover crops. Yeah, we've been, if you look at, I forget what it was, brain size matter. As soon as we developed agriculture, our brain size started to deplete. As soon as but like I said, everything is a trade-off. We can't have civilization without crops, right? Because there isn't enough meat to feed city-states, right? There isn't enough meat to feed all these people. So you need crops. You need filler foods to sustain a large population. But, so that we're kind of like in some type of dilemma. Oh my God, Rainy Steps. This is from Fox. No, man, you really don't have to donate any more money, man. Thank you. You've already given me so much today. Thank you very much for your donations, Rainy Steps. Like that. That is more than enough, man. Thank you. Like, and if you have any questions, you got anything you want to say, you want me to to say, I will say it right now in the chat. Trump will be defeated in 2020. Then the backlash will be severe once they try taking away firearms in the U.S. There will be many uprisings. You know, I really hope, for the sake of America, I hope Trump fucking wins, man. Because, you know, like, yeah, like, why is there a yellow vest protests all over the world, except for America, pretty much? Because everybody's content in America. Everybody, they're not completely, but their economy is doing better. Yes, he's not perfect. There's many things he isn't doing that is perfect, but no, gladiators were not vegan. They actually ate meat. A lot of them. A lot of the gladiators ate meat, and you know, veganism is promoted to the sheep. That is slave food. Okay, if you're a vegan, you're a slave. You're a retard. You're a slave. And you know, your brain does not work properly. You know what, the Indians, I think it's India, you know why they promote veganism? That's to the lower class of people. You know that, right? They promote that to the low class of people because it makes them docile. It makes them weak. You know, being vegan makes you weak. It really does. And you don't have, and veganism was not invented up until 100 years ago. Before that, it was vegetarianism, and vegetarianism has dairy and eggs and animal byproducts. So veganism is a new invention that just was created 100 or so years ago, like I said, by the Seventh-day Adventist that wanted to reduce, they thought meat made people lustful, and they wanted to reduce people's sterility and sex drive, so they introduced a plant-based diet. That is why. No, vegans did not exist. They were not vegan. Nobody was a vegan until 100 years ago. You got to look at the difference between vegan and vegetarian. And I've read a lot of the Greeks too, and even the Greeks said that whenever they wanted a warrior to be strong, you needed to feed him meat. They said this. I've read it multiple times in Herodotus, in the Republic, in a lot of Greek books. They reference meat. Vegetarianism is for the weak. It is for the brainwashed fools. And meat is the true food. Liver has everything you need in it. Meat has every single vitamin pretty much in it. Blood has so much fucking nutrients in it. Why do you know, look at vegan babies. They have rickets. They're dying, man. Look at vegan babies right now. A family was just charged because they gave their children a vegan diet. Mother's milk is 100% animal byproduct, cholesterol. A baby needs this for their brain because their brain is made entirely of cholesterol. Your brain is made of fat. Animal fats. So to think that if you eat fucking plant matter fat, that's going to replace your animal fat in your brain, you're stupid. You're dumb. You're an idiot, and you've been disconnected from nature. And okay, look at this. We've been humans for 2 million years, right? And our core 2 million years. So it's only been past 10,000 years that we have developed agriculture. Do you think the Neolithic people were walking around, they came across huge bushels of apples and carbohydrates and large bushels of wheat and stuff to harvest? No, they didn't. That didn't exist. Didn't exist. Why are animals' teeth so good? Why don't they have cancer? Why don't they have diabetes? Why don't they have the same diseases that all these humans have? Because they're eating a natural diet. And we're not eating a natural diet. And it was the advent of agriculture and us starting to eat glucose and bread that we cannot digest. Literally, it just turns into carbohydrate. It turns into sugars. Not good for you. Sugars are not good for you. And, you know, okay, but you need cholesterol. You need to ingest cholesterol to manufacture cholesterol. You know, like Vegans are deficient. You need B12 in a human diet. You need B12 in your diet. Look it up. Look it up. You need B12 in your diet. How do you get that in a vegan diet 2,000 years ago when they didn't even have supplements? You're not making any sense. They didn't have B12 supplements in the Greek era, so nobody was a vegan. Okay, no, not even herbivore animals eat meat. Look up deers eating fucking birds. Fucking lots of the monkeys eat meat. Meat is the best food. Vegans are dumb idiots. Who says this? We're meant to be vegans. Oh my god, man. Anarchor, man, you got a lot of crazy fucking ideas. Look at our gut. Do you think our gut is made to digest plant matter? Do you think our gut is made to digest that? No, it's not. We do not ferment plants in our stomachs. That's what cows do. Are we cows? No, we're not cows. So you're going to eat soil? No, it's not a soil. It's not in plants, man. It's not in plants. You're crazy, man. I don't know. Veganism, you're probably a vegan, and that's probably why your brain doesn't work, and that's why you're on the alt-right. I'm telling you, man. That's probably why. Maybe you're a vegan. Vegan, we're not monkeys, man. We're not monkeys. We're not fucking gorillas. They have massive guts to digest plant matter. You know what the difference between us and animals is? They have to eat 20 hours a day. Look at these fucking, okay, a monkey has to eat 8 to 10 hours a day. A lot of cows have to eat 20 hours a day because they're always chewing on fucking thing. Like they're chewing on fucking plant matter that whole time. They have to chew it 200-300 times before they even swallow it. Our teeth are not designed for plant matter. Our stomachs are not designed for plant matter. We are supposed to be meant to be on a keto diet with mostly meat and animal fats. You know, that is the truth. You got to think of it in evolutionary terms. We evolved in small hunter-gatherer tribes. And how did we survive for 2 million years before the introduction of agriculture? We didn't have agriculture. So what does that mean? It means we needed to eat meat. It means we broke the marrow, which we have evidence of. We even have the Neanderthals, evidence of them breaking open marrow bones of other humans and eating the other humans of their marrow bone, of their meat, because that is what it was around as well. But you know, look in Europe. Do you think our ancestors had access to plants and vegetables? No, they had access to only meat. That's it. You look at the Inuits, they eat raw meat their whole life. They have the highest levels of cholesterol, and some of them live the longest. Like a lot of these tribes, even the China study, like there's so much evidence against veganism right now. It is a globalist diet. It is the diet promoted by Bill Gates, who goes in and he promotes all this shit. You know, he promotes population reduction at the same time. His main major thing he wants to reduce is reducing population, and he's promoting veganism. You know, does that ring a few bells? Like I said, the creator of veganism died of a heart attack. The American Vegan Society, the creator, died of a heart attack at 66 years old. Veganism is supposed to prevent heart disease. It didn't. It killed the fucking guy. So fuck vegans. They're retards. And they're just gonna oh my god. Yeah, but all right, man. Well, you know, whatever. You know, go be a vegan. Go be a vegan and eat that diet and see how you feel. See how you do it. I don't know if you're a vegan. I think you might just be saying this because you believe it, but go be a vegan. My roommate was a vegan, okay? He was shitting out fucking blood. He was shitting out blood because he ate lentils and he ate all this other crap, and he ate all this fruit, an acidic fruit. That was just destroying his fucking insides. That's what it was, destroying his insides. He's shitting out fucking blood, man. So go be a vegan. But I'm going to eat fucking eggs and fucking steak and blood. And I'm going to eat a bloody fucking steak. And I'm going to feel great after I do it. And you can go eat your coconut juice and your lentils and your kale that tastes like shit and all these other foods. Go ahead and eat that crap. You're not going to be good. You're not going to feel good. 87% of vegans go back to eating meat when they start a vegan diet. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Why do babies need milk? Why do they need cholesterol? I don't like, whatever. But yeah. Okay. They do. But I don't know. Anarcore, you're also, like alt-right, and you believe in a lot of shit. So, kale is gross. It ruins food. That's all it does. People, they make a nice, good shake, and then they're like, let me ruin it with some kale. I just put all this stuff. Let me ruin it with some gross ass fucking kale. It's like, why? Why do that to yourself? You don't need to do that. It's not necessary. We're not cows. We're not cows. We don't eat grains. I'm not a horse. I don't eat grains. I'm not a horse. Like I said, the Roman Empire was built off of grain. Yes, it was built off of grain because that is what they needed to fuel people. But if they all had access to meat, they would eat meat, right? These are famine food or foods that you make when you don't have access to meat. All cultures prize meat. All cultures prize meat. And I don't know, maybe you read somewhere the gladiators were vegans, but like I said, veganism didn't even exist yet. So you're talking about vegetarianism, okay? If anything, which included eggs and animal pride products. But I've read many things as well about the Greeks, and they talk about how meat is what helped make warriors strong. And if they're like, if you want to make a warrior strong, we all know you feed them meat. I read this directly from Greek people. So I'm like, oh, whatever. I don't know. Maybe you heard that, but I've heard different. And, all I know is go look at ex-vegans online. Go look at all these people leaving veganism as we speak right now. It's because it is unhealthy for them. They're dying. And they're like, I can't do this diet anymore. I have to eat meat. I have to eat something because I'm just not getting nutrients. This diet is killing me. If you train a lot, kale and blueberries will be beneficial. Well, I don't know. There is a lot of talk about vegetables and stuff, but you got to remember, plants don't want to be eaten, right? Plants don't want to be eaten, just like humans and other animals don't want to be eaten. So how does a plant prevent itself from being eaten without claws and teeth, right? Well, they make it so when you eat the plant, you get sick, right? A lot of people are allergic to plants because it makes them sick. It's meant to make them sick because they're not supposed to eat it a lot of the times, because every life form wants to live. Every life form wants to live. And these plants are going to have things that that can protect themselves. They can protect themselves from you eating them. So you may think that there's sometimes like, oh, kale is good, this is good, but there's also lots of anti-nutrients in vegetables, in certain things that are not good for you, that counteract the good things that you do. And you may not even be able to process the so-called nutrients in a lot of the vegetables that you're eating, because you're not going to be able to process it. You don't have the same types of intestinal tract and same types of guts to get the same nutrients. People are eating all these seeds, but they're just shitting them out. It's not doing anything for them. They're just eating empty calories. We're not fucking animal. We're not herbivores. We are carnivores. And we're just smart enough to make things edible. We're smart enough to make things in our environment edible because there's not always meat around in the natural world. You didn't always have meat, so sometimes you had to eat the roots. You had to learn how to farm something or plant something so you could eat that. And a lot of vegetables initially are all poisonous until we bred a bunch of them together and made them edible over time. Like, you look at the original carrot, it is poison. The original carrot was a poisonous ass root that if we ate that today, we'd die immediately. We would die immediately. And it was through tons of breeding through these fruits and plants that we have today now that made them edible. But doesn't mean they still don't have a lot of things in there that are not good for you. Yeah, well, fruits want you to eat it. The fruits want to be eaten. Why do they want to be eaten? If they were all eaten, they wouldn't exist. All life forms don't want to be eaten. They want to survive. They want to populate. You know, they want no. Most plants don't want to be eaten. What? That doesn't make no sense. And what? All animals want. That's the point of evolution. Yeah, you can. You should eat your meat raw. You should actually eat most of your meat raw, because when you add carcinogens to it, it adds the cancer to it. Cooking anything, including vegetables, adds carcinogens to it. So I watched this one guy. He eats only raw meat. He does eat only raw meat. He eats raw eggs, raw pork. You know, look, go in Germany. Go in Germany. One of their main dishes is raw pork on a piece of bread. Okay? And they serve that shit on the fucking street. Go to Japan. Go to China. Look at how they kill fish. They kill it. They don't cook it. They open it up and they trim all the thing. They cut it up and they eat it just like that. And it's breathing and shit. And they're eating the fish live. Beef tartare. That is fucking just raw meat. Raw meat. Okay, yeah, sure. I don't know how fruits. Yes, when the animal eats it, yeah, sure, you can shit out some seeds, you step on some seeds, and then it populates other things. But that doesn't mean the life form itself wants to be eaten. It is a byproduct of evolution that figured out how to capitalize on other animals eating it, right? So it's like, this animal comes, eats me. Okay, well, I develop a system now to have seeds that can survive its intestinal tract that will be shit out. And that happened through years of fucking evolution. But that doesn't mean the plant itself didn't want to be eaten from the start. It doesn't want to be eaten. It just figured out a way how to compensate for being eaten and how to replicate its cells some other way. So, no, all life forms do not want to be eaten. All life forms want to survive. All life forms want these things because all life forms today were present at the beginning of time. They were all present at the beginning of time because we're all a direct descendant of the first fucking being. We all wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for the instinct of survival of each being that came from that first being that created all of the beings that exist today. You know, that is why we all want to survive. We all want to survive. Animals, plants want to survive. Plants have toxins in them that will kill people who eat them. There's plenty of plants that we can't eat, that we know we can't eat, that are poisonous. You can't go in the woods and start eating leaves and shit. Start eating random fucking plants. See how you do. See how you do. The only way we can eat a lot of the stuff we eat now is through thousands of years of agriculture, putting certain plants or planting the more edible ones together until we got something that's fairly edible. But in nature, the shit doesn't exist, especially for humans. We evolved off eating meat. We didn't evolve picking fucking fruit. Try surviving off of a fruitarian diet. You got to eat a lot of fucking food. You got to eat a lot of fiber. Our stomachs are not designed to handle that much fiber. So go eat a bunch of fiber. See how that's good for your intestinal tract. It's not. You know, like there's so many things wrong. And a lot of the studies that vegans, they're like, oh, well, look, these vegans are so much healthier than these people, where they compare it to somebody who's eating 20% meat which is probably processed meat from McDonald's, which is not even real meat, which 40% of that meat is soy product. And then 80% of their diet is plant and carbohydrates. So it's like, all these studies that they bring up are bullshit. Yeah, well, we will never have a vegan like a vegan. Veganism is just terrible. I hate it. I hate all vegans. No, I don't hate all vegans, but I've never ever thought it was good. And now the more I learn, the more reasons I know why I fucking turned away from it, why I never thought it was good. And just my roommate in general, who was a vegan, he was sick, man. He was skinny. He looked sick. I'm telling you, he shat out fucking blood. It's not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight. And if he just ate some fucking real food, he would have looked and felt a lot better. But, he was stupid. And he's like, well, if I eat a vegan diet, I'm going to learn how to like manipulate my aura and how to see the future. And I'm going to be, no, you're deficient. You're deficient of nutrients and you're starving yourself. So you think you're seeing things and you think you're hallucinating. But what's really going on is you're starving yourself and you're eating sugar. That's all you're eating. That's all vegans eat. You're like, oh, fruit is great for you. You're just eating sugar. What about Steve Jobs? He was a fruitarian. He died of cancer. Okay, he died of cancer. So fruit is gonna be good in moderation, but you can't just live off of fruit. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. You can't just live off fruit. Try it. Yeah. Very few people can do it, and they have to supplement tons of shit to even be able to survive off of that diet. It's terrible. So he cuts oatmeal with a. What do you think about compelled accommodation for migrants? My small city got its marching orders to take percentage in. Yeah. It's just more dictatorship from the Trudeau administration, pretending that he's great and all good, but it's just like, no, we're gonna force you to live like this, do like this, and no beans and rice. No, that's the slave food, man. You're eating slave food. That's what they feed to the slaves. That's the slave food. Beans and rice are slave food, and you eat that. Like there's lots of tribes that they found when they moved over to beans and rice. That is when they started to develop all of these problems. All of these problems started to develop after beans and rice. You're just eating starch. That's all you're eating. You're eating sugar. You're eating sugar and starch. There's no nutrients in that. There's no nutrient in rice. Look, most beans are unedible. Most beans are poisonous, and you have to fucking like seach out their poisons for like 2 weeks or for like a long time before you can even eat them. Like those nuts, those fucking walnuts, you have to like make them like seach out the poison for 2 weeks before you can even eat that fucking shit. So it's like, no, man, it's like all that stuff. Kryptonite tell them vegans are right. Rice works, but you don't ever want to have that stuff more than once in a while. If Earth was in a proper condition, there would be free food everywhere. Why do we think they want to reduce CO2? Well, the thing is no, we have too many people. We have too big of a population, and it's gonna self-correct. It's gonna self-correct, and lots of billions of people are gonna die because we can't. Unless some new technology comes out and we figure out how to make a bunch of fucking food that is very nutritious, that has nutrition, because like I said, all the soil is depleted of its nutrition. So all the vegetables that we are eating now have no nutrition because the soil has nutrition. There's no more zinc. There's all these minerals in the soil that are no longer present, and that we are no longer getting in our food. We're no longer getting the mercury, the zinc, all this other shit that is prevalent in other soils. So, we need to let them regrow and not leave them go fallow for a few years, or introduce like, I don't know, fucking certain types of dust and rock in there to make it be full of nutrient again. But a lot of our soil is nutrient deficient, and that's not getting any better. We need to do something about this because we are going to be heading for a very big problem in the future. Starch is our food. People eat nothing, but potatoes do well. No, they don't do well. The Irish, look at them. They're fucking short, and they're not doing well. They have all the freckles and shit. Like, you know, like, no, they didn't do well off of potatoes. That's a famine food. That's a famine food. No, we are overpopulated. We are definitely overpopulated. People think that we have lots of room, but we don't. We don't have lots of room. You need resources. We can't sustain these massive cities. Like, we are overpopulated. Things are going to crash eventually. We can't sustain this population healthily either. And, you know, unless you come up with some new, we've always been kicking it down the road. Like, we should have had a lot of massive starvations essentially by now, but like, scientists come around and they invent something that makes us grow more crops, and then we can produce more people and this and that. But what happens when we hit a wall? You know, like, it's gonna hit a wall, and because we're not living naturally and we have too many people, everything is being fucked. Like, everything, like, you know, the fish are being fished out. The nutrients of the plant, of the soil has no more nutrients because we've been just using it all. Because we have too many people. If we had less people, we wouldn't be like, do we want more traffic? Do we want to go in cities with more traffic? Do we want less traffic? We would all be better off with less human beings on the planet. That's just the truth of it. This is the truth. We don't have unlimited resources. We never will. The Earth is a small fucking planet. We will never have infinite resources. So we can't just grow exponentially. That's stupid. We're going to run into problems. We got to think ahead. We can't just be R selected rabbits that are like breeding like fucking retards. That's what it is. It's R selection versus K selection. And we're being R selected rabbits, having a bunch of kids, and we're not looking ahead for a potential downturn that's going to kill all of the people. Whereas if we're more K selected, we're going to have kids. We're going to make sure that they're smart, that they're educated, that they're good citizens that are going to produce. But right now, it's just like, use up all the resources and then go through massive famine because we had so many kids without thinking about it that there's not enough food to go around. So there's going to be a famine. That's what happens in K selected groups. That's what happens with rabbits and deer and all this other things that overpopulate. They get overpopulated and then they all go through some fucking famine because there's too many of them. So we want to avoid that. We don't want to be stupid animals. We don't want to be stupid fucking animals. We want to be K selected. We want to be stupid. Let's vegans vegan. Yeah, we'll hunt, eat, and be strong. Yeah, like, you know, it's almost good that the vegans are the way they are. It's like they're doing us a favor. You know, let them eat that. Then more meat for us. Because there isn't enough meat for everybody. So you're gonna you eat that fucking slave food. You eat it. Okay, you do that. I'm not going to do it, but you do that. You do that. It's good. You know, you keep believing it, because then you're not going to be trying to take food from me. You're gonna be eating your stupid lentils and your bread and your whatever, and whatever. No, meat sucks. Ask a Venezuelan. All right, guys. I think that's about it. Good discussion, guys. Good discussion, Anarchor. We always go back and forth. Sorry if I say, mean things and stuff. I don't mean it, man. I like you, dude, and I like you coming to my channel and pushing back. Having a interesting conversation or dialogue. I really enjoy that. Gladiator food. No, you're wrong, man. It's slave food. It's slave food. You're wrong. But, guys, thanks for joining me, man. It was a good stream. Thank you for all the donations, guys. Everybody who donated, Rainy, fucking everybody. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, but thanks again, guys. And, I hope you all have a wonderful night. All right, man. Take it easy.